That deep sigh was brought to you by Mr. Mike Bish. Hey, everybody, how's it going? It is Fandom Empire now, and what a fucking crazy day that it has been today. By the way, long time no see. We haven't seen you since this morning. And Tommy's gone just like that. He said, fuck this. I don't need this show. I'm gone. How's it going, everybody? And Tommy is back. How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday night to each and every one of you mother Canuckers out there. Hopefully everybody's having a great evening. It's been a wild day. Shawn changed his shirt. Yes, believe it or not, people can change their clothes in the same day. It's a thing, Art.
We believe people can change.
We do. We believe that people can change. If I can change, you can change. And if Mike can change, Tommy probably can't change. No, Mike, how's it going, man? Long time no see. Oh, Mike's muted. 1 second. Let's try that again. How's it going, Mike?
It's good, man. Good to be back on with you guys. It's been a busy day for Fandom Empire and really for the whole Halloween fan base. So we got a lot to jump into tonight, and I'm ready to get the rolling, man.
There's so much to talk about, which is a lot of fun. Pumpkin Man, I will message you. Sorry, I thought Toronto Friday was saying something else. I will message you after we're off air, man, and we can talk about that privately. David Gordon Green changed. Yeah, that's an understatement. I guess David Gordon Green did, in fact, change. Tommy, how's it going, man? Happy Thursday night to you, sir.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, happy to be back on air for just a few minutes. It's been a long day. It's been a busy few days for all of us here. Here at Fandom Empire, we got a lot of stuff going on. A few things behind the scenes we're not ready to talk about yet. Shawn's got that as well. So, but that ends news. Yeah, that was quite powerful, and I was happy to be part of our talking about it earlier today.
It was fun. The chat was active. The support for the most part has been great. I'm not sure where everybody is on a Thursday night. We got 15 people in here, which is a little low on the numbers. However, YouTube was kind of fucking us around on how we were advertising the show and thumbnails and etc. So we were having some issues with that. It was surreal to be a part of, man. It was exciting. It was also you had to have some level of integrity, some level of accountability, because we were on this channel about 3 months ago, and when we received the report from one of the sources that we talked to that Halloween Ends would not take place on the same night, along with some other stuff. Well, we weren't like, hey, this person's fucking wrong. Fuck this person. Who needs this person? As Matt joins fucking in the middle of eating a grilled cheese sandwich or whatever he's eating.
Tomato or no tomato.
I'm somebody that believes in accountability. No matter how much you want to boost your own ego or show everybody how big your dick is. At the end of the day, if you get something wrong, you should admit it. And while we had the right information, we thought it was wrong, and it's just crazy. And if somehow you don't know what has happened is tomorrow Total Film magazine comes out, and in that magazine there's a bunch of Halloween Kill stuff. But more importantly, David Gordon Green confirms that due to the pandemic and they had more time to think about everything, Halloween Ends will no longer take place on the same night as Halloween Kills. It was supposed to. And instead, it will take place, and I quote, a few years later, which to basically every content creator out there was a massive shock, despite what, and this is as far as I'm going to go on this one. I have seen a couple people say, well, this wasn't really a big surprise. And honestly, that's just, I don't believe that for a second. Every single major Halloween content creator that covers Halloween on here has literally been saying it's the same night. So the idea that this isn't a big surprise, I'm kind of calling bullshit on. So that's what I would say. But there are two people on here, and I'm going to move myself down here for now. There are two people on here who haven't gotten to discuss the Halloween End stuff, and that is Mike and Matt. So we're going to hand it over to them in just a second. But I do want to go back and tell you briefly how it happened. So a few months ago, source got to us. There was a Halloween End script that I totally thought was fake. It read like a fan fiction for the first 15, 20 pages. We talked about it on here. We talked about it on Patreon. And while we don't know if that script is confirmed or not, the fact is this person was, adamant that no, Halloween Ends does not take place on the same night. Yet everybody else, literally all over the internet, was like, yes, it does. And we were wrong, and that person was right. And it is a bit of a bombshell in the Halloween universe. And I'm still not sure how I feel about it. So Mike, I know you really wanted to dive into this tonight before we move on to the Fear Street trilogy, which is so much to talk about. And hopefully we don't come to blows or anything, because I have a feeling we have different opinions on this film. What is your thoughts on this Halloween End stuff? And then maybe Matt can follow you up.
I was just shocked, man. Just because for me overall, like it was a shock factor overall to hear, because we've been hearing for so many months now that all three movies were going to take place on the same night, including Ends, of course. So to wake up to the news is shocking. The only question that I come away with is, was this script rewritten, or were things, they kind of kept the end script and kind of just twisting some things up? Or I guess that's what I'm most interested in knowing. And I don't know if we're gonna know until either David Gordon Green or somebody else comes out and says it. But just seeing, I guess just rewriting the story, and if they had to rewrite the script, like I obviously this was all done during COVID times, and there's some good things that came out of COVID as far as people working to better their craft and whatever that is, or whatever. Obviously that's what David Gordon Green and the Halloween Ends family did. Everybody on that team decided to change it up and go with what's going to take 3 years later. So it was shocking initially. Like I said, still don't know exactly how I feel about it. I'm going back and forth. I just don't want it to be one of those things where something was put together and it was a good film and you just have all that time just sitting around. Did they make a gut wrench move and try to switch things up, and it turned out to be a crap movie? So, I'm excited to see what it is or how it's going to turn out, but I have my concerns too.
I definitely have my concerns. Whenever you hear something like this, and actually, I was on Dave's channel today too, Dave McRae's. He was kind enough to invite me over there, and we discussed it for I think like 70 minutes over there. The fact that they come out and admit in the article that no, people had the information wrong, and that it was never going to be the same. They openly admit no, it was going to be the same night, and now it's not. You really shouldn't change that for the sake of just changing that. There's got to be something narratively speaking that should change that, wouldn't you think, Mike?
I would say so, for sure. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what we like. David Gordon Green and the whole camp, the Halloween camp, they surprised me in good ways and then surprised me in bad ways. So I'm not sure, man. To be honest with you, which way it's gonna go. Like, I just feel like all things are off the table now. Like, all kinds of shit can switch up, but I guess we'll see.
I'm gonna, before Matt chimes in here, I want to pull this up. Toronto Freddy says, I guess I'm okay with letting out what happened. Unfortunately, I found out Monday morning while on a TV set that my cousin had passed away. Freddie, I did make reference, and Freddie knows I made reference to this because he watched the stream afterwards, that he was going through some stuff. And honestly, dude, you do such wonderful work for us, and you've been so kind over the years. And just you're a really good person, outside of just being a team guy. That everybody here at Fandom Empire is thinking about you, and we just wish you nothing but the best during this time, man. If you need a vent, we're here. The audience is here, and Tommy's here when he's not getting high. No, I'm kidding. Matt doesn't do that. So, Matt, just let us in, dude. What kind of fucking massive shocker was this to you?
I was not surprised. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, it was kind of a shocker, but I'm not surprised. And I think, I've been thinking back and forth about this all day. I don't think we got disappointed with Halloween 2018. I think overall it was a solid movie, a solid entry. And I don't think with way it's heading that we're going to be disappointed. Overall, there might be some parts we might not like about it, I think. But I also heard Kieran this morning. I kind of had to agree with him when he said, there's so many more ways you can take it. And
yeah,
going a couple of years. There's so many more avenues you can go than just being the night before. And I think the whole pandemic got them thinking, like you said, it's going to go into next night. Well, what if we did this? And it makes me wonder what you and I read, or what you read and you told me about was the actual
came from the same place.
Yeah.
All I would say, and kind of has me a little worried is all I'm going to say. But I mean, if this much has changed since then, since the pandemic started, and there's still 6 more months before filming even begins, more could change at this rate. But it's a bit of a stunner. Tommy, you had some time to digest this morning and talk about it. Where do you stand now with the I guess the massive shock to most of us on here that knew what was going to happen, at least, or when it was going to happen? Halloween Ends.
So I might have been the first one to chime in this morning. I don't quite recall, but what I do remember is I started off being a bit of a negative Nancy, and yeah, it's kind of disappointing in a way because we all had these concepts in our mind of how we think Ends is going to potentially go, and honestly, now those might be totally out there. We're like an uncharted territory, folks. Anything could happen. At the same time, in the middle of the stream and after the fact, I started reflecting on, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. We don't know enough yet. We got to wait and see what happens. I will say that I totally jive with the feeling that this isn't something that you just do just to do. Hopefully they had something, in the back of their minds, or something they wanted to do later that they're going to do now, or whatever that they want to bring into the story with a time skip, bringing it forward, whether it's 2021, 2022, 2030, whatever the hell they end up doing. Just for a disclaimer, I don't think they're going to actually go that far. But who knows? They could. I've also touched on that I do feel pretty cool that I do think it'd be pretty cool if they brought in, say, a new pair of coveralls and a new mask. Just see how those play out. If Michael Myers is going to be wearing the same stuff for 4 fucking years, narratively speaking, the mask is what?
3 or 4 years for sure. Yeah, that's what it sounds
Narratively speaking, the mask is old as shit already. Come on, that stuff would be rotting off of his friggin' body. You mean to tell me that's something that it hasn't been replaced at some point? Come on.
I just think
so
marketing perspective before Mike chimes in here, toy sales and mask sales, and I'm expecting that we're going to see something. It'll look like a Michael Myers mask. You will know that it's Michael Myers, but I'm expecting something new now. I am. Why not?
Yeah, I don't mean to insist that it's going to be a non-Michael Myers mask, or say something from the Rob Zombie films, how they were all looking totally different. I have commented before that I did dig a lot of those masks, and I stand by that. That would be cool if they did something with that again. But I do think it'll be a new Michael Myers mask, as we've come to call it.
Do you think we go back to an H4 mask?
No, I don't think. I think that it's either going to be somehow he comes across the exact same mask that he used in '78, but it's clean again, or it's going to be something new, but in the vein of that, and that's what I would go with. Mike, where are you with this, man? You were going to chime in there.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you a question, and this is too spoilery for the channel. You could just say it is, but I know you've read the script, and you know how Kills ends. Now, I just want to ask you: is this a movie that ends where they could come into ends the movie and automatically 3 years later, or? I mean, I guess that's the big thing, and if that's too spoilery, you don't have to answer that. But I'm just curious of how that's going to happen.
So Dave asked me the same thing on his channel today, and he's read the script too. And he brought up that maybe they'll have a buffer at the beginning, and maybe there's a buffer at the beginning, or maybe there's a flashback. Mm-hmm. But if there's not a buffer or a flashback that goes back to 18, see, the only thing I heard on ends that seemed pretty straightforward is that we would be going back in time even more again at some point during Halloween Ends. That's the only major thing that I heard, which is not a big surprise. I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed that during Halloween Kills with the sets they built and all the rental cars and all that to go back to '78. But in terms of that, I would be extremely concerned if there's no buffer and no flashback, because without getting into spoilers, I don't know if there's a lot you leave unanswered, but there's a lot of reactions the audience deserves to see that you wouldn't get. And that's where I'm kind of puzzled with this decision. Matt, you could speak to this without giving any spoilers. You're muted, bud.
With what we know for the script, they're going to have to redo. It's almost like they're going to have to redo the finale. Well, they might not. It almost feels like they had to redo the ending completely. Well, that's not too spoilery.
There's no time to redo the ending of Kills now. The one thing they could do, though, and The Rise of Skywalker did this with Star Wars, and several other movies do this, is you change the ending in the editing room. Is you go to the ending and you go, okay, instead of ending on this shot, we're just going to get rid of that shot and end it a little earlier. I don't know if that's happened. I kind of hope it does now. But
I think they've redone. I think they've had reshoots. Well, maybe a very, very small
the problem
scale.
Is I heard they had very brief reshoots, like not even to the extent of Halloween 18.
Like during COVID or right after they finished the movie?
Closely after they finished the movie. And this is what worries me is it's like, oh, well, then that still really doesn't line up because they probably would have had to go and reshoot again. I think the change would have to be in the editing room, in my opinion. Any other thoughts on actually, Mike? What's your thoughts on the whole mask thing, man? Like, will it just be the same mask and coveralls again that have been like burnt and shit and all fucked up, and like 3 years later or 4 years later, or do you expect to see a new, clean-looking, fresh Michael Myers?
Honestly, I'm actually hoping for a new fresh Michael Myers mask. You would think, I'm sure after we go through kills and the mask is already beat to hell, it's charred now, so lasting another 3-4 years, that's just gonna look very tough, and I don't know if I would like that mask, but I would say that's the way they're probably going to lean. For some reason, just because I'm just gonna say just because I want a new, fresh, clean mask. Nothing ever goes my way. So, but no, in all seriousness, I have a feeling that they're just going to kind of keep the same old mask, in a sense.
If it's the same mask that is used in kills, then they're gonna have to deteriorate that even more if we're skipping
Absolutely.
years, like to the almost zombify. I'm not talking Rob Zombie. That's not a pun intended there. But almost like a zombified mask. And while that could look cool, I think at that point you just go a clean new look.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like that.
Tommy, if you're a betting man, what are they doing? New mask or same?
So I already just got done saying earlier that I would like to see a new mask, new coveralls, all that good stuff. I'm saying with a time skip for a few years, we're better off betting new stuff.
And a new fresh mask would mean more money from Trick or Treat Studios.
Solid says, I think they should do a clean H40 mask. Well, the problem is there is, like, in the story, there isn't an H40 mask, right? Like the H40 mask is actually from 1978 and is the original mask that's been worn down and deteriorated inside of an evidence room. So there really isn't a clean H40. Oh, so you just want the 2018 mask? That's really what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the 1978 mask, right? Even though it's not that, and it's a new mold, it's supposed to be in the story for that. I think we're going to get new guys. I think you're going to see something clean and sleek, and it would make sense on like, we've all talked about how, like, you know, you got the 2018 poster there, you got the kills poster there. They're facing one another. You know, this one's deteriorated. That one is all burnt. It made a lot of sense for the new and the ends poster to be, you know, the whole frontal of the face, the whole front part of the face. And if they're going to do that, then why not do that with a brand new mask? What a way to show off your new mask than a direct shot on the poster, is how I would say it.
Agreed.
But again, it's a bit of a gamble. It's a gamble.
I trust Chris Nelson.
Yeah, I say the same thing. That's why I'm looking forward to see what this mask is looking like during the flashbacks, during kills. But I actually have a lot of confidence in that and in him.
I know where there's one change on the mask, and I don't know so much if it's the mask as it is the person's head that's wearing the mask. But from a side view, there's a little bit of a difference between 78 and the flashback and kills. And you'll notice the pictures are all over from when the live shoot got out because they shot in public. And you notice it's up by like the temple areas. Temple pops out more. And I think it's just a person's skull, you know. Gary Sim, hey guys, sadly got to go to work. Hope you all keep well. Keep up the awesome work you guys do. And David Davenport said, any chance they reshot the ending to kills? Well, I think we just answered that, David. I don't think there is. And if they did, they did it all the way back, like post screening.
Yeah, it would have to have been then, because if they would have shot during COVID or just, I mean, that I feel like I would hear about it. I know a lot of people down in the Wilmington area, so which I would figure they would have to go back, you know, on site to do, you know, shoot the ending if you're going to do reshoots. So I guess it all depends. What's up,
man? I was actually going to say something, but I'm not going to say it because it's kind of spoilery. So I'm going to avoid that. Matt,
I think you and I are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna. All I'll say this: they didn't necessarily have to go to North Carolina.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily have to do that. So,
Gotcha.
I'm curious. I've said for the longest time I don't like the very end of the movie, and I think they should change it because I love the rest of the movie on paper. We'll have to see if that happens and or not. Tommy, any last thoughts from you, man, on the Halloween Ends front? And I'm assuming by now you've seen Fear Street 66, so without giving spoilers yet, because the three of us are going to take care of the spoiler review, just give us your thoughts and your score on Fear Street 1666.
Sure. So we talked about this film after seeing it, and I won't speak for anyone else. It was my least favorite of the trilogy. However, I did not think it was the worst. I did not think it was a genuinely terrible film. Shit, words are hard. I was giving it a 6.5 to 7. I'm kind of erring towards 6 to 6.5 now. So let's be generous and give it a 6.5.
A 6.5 from Tommy B for 1666. I have not watched it a second time. I've had a chance to look back on it. I actually do want to watch it a second time. But I will say my score has changed from the score that I gave in the chat that time. It has changed from that. So I was a little harsh.
I thought
originally.
Honestly, I was about to say.
Originally, it got better, is what you're telling us.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I was over here thinking it was probably Shawn might put it down and it lower than what he told us it was at, which would be highly disrespectful.
Well, that just seems excessive, Frank. I had half a line. You have 3 lines. And I'm not talking about cocaine because I haven't received any of that.
LOL.
Jade says, I thought I was having a fever dream for the first 25 minutes, and then it hit me what was actually happening, and I was mind blown how good it was. Maybe you were just high. Just throwing that out there.
What is she talking about?
The first 25 minutes of Fear Street.
Okay.
We were both really high. I'll say that. We're so high. Okay, no, that's enough of that shit. Oh, God. Tommy, did you get that?
No.
Just Facebook. I'm sure you got the notification somewhere.
I'll go check it out.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for Tommy. We don't know where Matt is. Probably, doing things and stuff. But Tommy, where can everybody find you, man? You don't need to give the channel socials, but just yourself.
Sure. At TommyB1650 on Twitter and Instagram, and around all of our Fandom Empire places on Facebook, which is where I'm going now.
All righty, man. You might want to let him know in case he hasn't seen.
Yep, I will. All right, everybody. I'll be around.
All righty, man. All right. And then there were 2. That hasn't come back yet.
He's probably going to fix himself a big ass egg salad sandwich. He looks like somebody that eats egg salad a lot.
Man, I think egg salad sandwiches stink. I love fried egg sandwiches, but egg salad sandwiches, I can't get past the smell.
They do smell bad, but I'm over here eating something that smells bad because I actually like it. So we'll see. Not the smell, obviously, but I mean, because I remember in high school, I would always tell my mom to fix me an egg salad sandwich, and I hated the smell. I always asked her to bring the egg salad sandwiches into my room because if I went in the kitchen, I would have got sick. But when I'm eating it, I don't think that. It's really weird.
Ma, bring me some fish sticks.
Ma, the meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's such a good movie. Such a good movie.
It is. It is.
Did I read they're doing another? I could have swore I read they're doing another.
I would absolutely. Wedding Crashers 2. I feel like I like that whole cast in general. I'm a big Rachel McAdams fan. That's my girl.
Yeah, so was my brother, but I think he might have got a little too obsessed, but hopefully not. So
oh man.
He watches The Notebook daily.
Yeah.
I watch it yearly.
The Notebook. What's The Notebook? Oh, right. And Rachel McAdams is in there. Yeah, I forgot. I like The Notebook. Good movie. Not as good as Wedding Crashers, but it's a good movie. I like them both. And Matt did leave to take a shit. One massive shit with, chunks of corn in it and all that good shit.
That's pretty quick, Matt.
No, that was a one. The two might come later.
Later. This is an interesting one. Y'all should try having a peanut butter sandwich with chili. I had chili tonight, but never have I ever thought anything about having a peanut butter sandwich with chili. That sounds almost as bad as mustard on your spaghetti.
Ooh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Who does that? If somebody does that in the chat, I respect you, but you're gonna kindly have to leave. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Block.
Oh my god. Flinner says he had a sardine burger tonight for dinner. I've never had one of those.
Y'all are eating good.
I imagine
What
that's
does Loomis think about that?
What does Loomis think about it?
Yeah. Sardine burger.
Toronto Friday, why do we take a shit? Don't we actually leave it? Valid. This is valid. Just like what's the other one I heard? You don't get on the train. You get in the train. It's not on the train. No one says, I'm gonna get on the taxi now. They say in the taxi. You're not on the taxi. Just like with buses, you go in the bus, not on the bus. But anytime someone catches a bus, it's like, I'm going on the bus. But you're not. You're going.
You're getting on the bus.
You're getting in the bus.
Matt, I'm so glad we can only see one part of your face, dude.
Yes.
Okay, Seinfeld. Yes, I stole that from Jerry Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Seinfeld's just magnificent. Matt, Matt and Mike for that matter, any closing thoughts? I'm going to put myself down here. Just anything you guys have left to talk about the Halloween Ends information that came up tonight. Now's the time to do it because we're going to move on to Fear Street.
I trust in David Gordon Green. He didn't disappoint for the most part on 18. And I think if there's something that was strong enough that it made him want to redo Ends completely and where Ends is going, then I trust in him. And I think for now, let's trust in him till we're showed differently. Or no differently.
I trust in David Gordon Green. I don't necessarily trust in Trancas International, who is all about the dollar bill at the end of the day, and they would have Halloween Ends Again come out, and Halloween's Ends Again, just kidding, not come out, and so on and so forth. I'm worried because now I do think by doing this, you are in more prime position to make a movie in this timeline after Ends than you were before.
I can see that.
All righty. Let's move on to Fear Street, guys. Let's talk some Fear Street. Mike, just initial thoughts on 1666, man.
Well, I was kind of late to the party watching 66. I forgot what I was doing, but I'd seen everybody online kind of go back and forth of where they're at on this. And obviously we had the group chat going, and I know what y'all's scores were on it and y'all's opinion. And I just felt like this was the one that was really, you liked it or you didn't like it. Like it was no really in the middle. But I've seen a lot of people really praise 1666, saying it's their best of the three. And then I've seen a lot of people say it was, complete shit. So I don't know, man. For me, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm not sure, when we give out our scores, and I don't want to give anything away where I'm going to put that, but initially I'll just say that I liked it. not
Matt,
crazy.
how about you, man?
Complete and utter dog shit.
Oh wow.
I watched it again, and I hated it even more the second time. I wasn't a big fan. I mean, if that's possible, you know. At first, I was like, okay, so this is a spoiler. I thought the 1666 angle really would drag it down, but I understand why they had to do it. I really understood why they had to do it. I like the 1994 part of it than I did the 1666, but you have to tell the whole story. The story has to come full circle, and I get that. But I just think the execution of getting with 1666 and revisiting the same storylines from 1994 is 1666. I was hoping for something a little more fresh, not the whole relationship angle with them again. So, and I think that part of it, if that had been done better, I would have liked it. But I was just so disappointed with what they did with 1666.
Intel Wild drags us out of Fear Street right back into Halloween Ends, because why not? With a $5 super chat, says, I was telling Dave McCray a while back I wanted to see a new / fresh Myers mask in Kills or Ends, and maybe it's just happening. I think you're right. Like I at this point, if you asked me yesterday, I would have said no chance. You ask me today, and I would be shocked if the answer was no. Because there's a difference between selling a mask that has some slight alterations to it and selling something that's completely new. And the idea of a modern take on the 1978 mask, and I know people say that's H40, but it's not. It just isn't. I think would be interesting. I really do think it'll be interesting. So I believe there'll be a new mask, and I believe there'll be new coveralls. And I don't think they'll go too far off track to where fans are like, oh, that's not Michael Myers. You know, you're not going to see Rob Zombie Halloween 2 mask with half of it ripped apart and, you know, Hobo Michael and whatever. But it's probably going to be quite a bit different from 78, yet still, you know, paying tribute to it is what I would say. Mike, you said you thought it was you think they're going to stick with the same mask, correct? But deteriorated?
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to go to. I hope that's not the case. I really don't, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that that's what they're going to go with. So I'll kind of be disappointed because I want them to see with something fresh and new. And I do trust David Gordon Green. It's just I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're going to stick with where it's at right now.
And Matt, where were you? Do you think it's a new mask or the same mask?
New mask.
New mask. That's where I am too. This is going to piss people off. And I'm not saying I know they're going there because until this morning, well, I should have known 3 months ago when we talked about this on another stream, counted it. But I think I could easily see this becoming more about selling toys and merch and, you know, all stuff that relates to that. Than it is about the story. And don't forget, at the end of the day, Universal controls the distribution, and Trancas is, you know, they're the godfather of Halloween, you know. So at the end of the day, you can count on David Gordon Green as much as you want, and Danny McBride and John Carpenter and so on. At the end of the day, it'll be Universal and Trancas that decides how this is going to go. Because believe
Akkad, yeah,
if Malik Akkad, not Makad, or Akkad, it's pronounced all different ways. Leave me alone, I'm Canadian. If he wants a movie after Ends that follows up Ends, he doesn't need Blumhouse involved in it. He doesn't. They can go elsewhere, but considering Blumhouse has 10 billion Purge movies, I'm pretty sure they'd be okay with making a movie called Halloween Ends again. And I really do feel like that's where this is going. And this might turn some people on the channel. Some people might not be thrilled with this take. I'm really worried right now. I know that's the negative stance to take, but like, I hope this decision has been made for the right reasons and not knee-jerk reasons.
I don't think we're going to get after this. I don't think we're going to get another movie before the 50th. You and I have kind of both agreed we'll get something for the 50th.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll do another one before then.
My thing with the 50th though is the 50th gonna? Are you gonna bring Jamie Lee back in? Depending on I guess on which way they go. Whether it's off. If they continue to do the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends timeline, or if they jump into something new. I guess obviously to bring her back, you would have to jump into something new. If she dies, if she don't, I don't know how it goes because I have not read the script. But yeah, I don't know, man. It gets me talking all kinds of ways because there's a lot to consider and think about.
It's going to be interesting to see which direction it goes. I don't want to see her involved in the 50th anniversary movie because we believe there will be one.
Yeah, neither do I. It's just I can see where whoever's going to come up with that creation of the 50th movie, they're going to want to have her in there for some reason. And I understand it, but I just know that that's what they're going to try to do.
If they do it a cameo, a very brief cameo. Like if they don't kill her in Ends, then I guess we could definitely say, hey, I mean, we're coming to the people are coming to the funeral of Laurie Strode. And I would do something like that at the beginning. Yeah.
I don't think we need Laurie Strode. This is everyone that
I don't think we do either, but if they're going to do it, it needs to be a very quick, very brief scene.
Maybe. It's just I have a problem with that too. I have a problem with, killing her off, immediately. Like, especially if it's done the way they did it in Resurrection. Like,
you mean you don't like I'll see you in hell, Michael?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is,
I almost want to walk out of the theater after that. Literally.
If you're gonna kill her at the end. This isn't Scream we're talking about here, where where we need to. I don't know, dude. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Our boy Frank Recker says, do we even know if this trailer is accurate considering what David Gordon Green said and what they've done? The original H18 ending the original H18 ending was shown in the trailer. That's accurate, Frank. It was, but the rest of that trailer was fairly spot on. And if that's the case, please, for the love of God, we've already said the last shot in the movie's in the trailer. Please remove that as the last shot of the movie. Please.
No!
She needs to die, or pardon me, it needs to die. Loomis on the voice recorder. And Kieran also said, bring back Jamie Lloyd. I would have thought about a week ago there was always a decent shot of that. And then she went and aligned herself with Tony Moron. And that's just not a very good public stance to take. And
I know her heart was in the right place. And I get it.
Was it, or is she being pissy about it again? Because she was really pissy about not being a part of 18 or Kills.
Yeah.
Like child tantrum pissy. But we all know Frank's favorite part of the Halloween franchise is in fact Danielle Harris.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Right? Mm-hmm. Danielle Harris is awesome. I have no reason to think that she's not awesome. I'm simply stating facts, and she was pissy about not being involved. And to an extent, when PJ Souls originally was to appear in the movie, but only ended up having a voice, she got to be in the movie, so why not Danielle Harris? Is what I would say. Danielle Harris is far more important to this franchise than PJ Souls is. Sorry, but facts are facts.
Yeah,
I just don't know how they could bring her in there. So, I don't.
Yes. Bunch of negative Nancys. We haven't even started reviewing Fear Street yet, man. Oh,
I know, Shawn. How do y'all two feel about Fear Street? Let me hear it. 1666. Whoever wants to go first.
I already said my
piece. Matt said his. He said it was dog shit.
Oh yeah, that is true. Asshole.
So I was really fucking baked when I watched it. Like, Like, obviously you've seen me hitting the vape, and I was, sucking down this 5 gram iced tea. But I'm pretty with it right now. I wish I got to watch it again less baked, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying my opinion would be any different because, people that don't do this usually have the opinion, oh, well, you were out of your mind, so you have no idea what you're talking about, and it can't be accounted for. And I don't necessarily agree with that at all. By the way, Adrian's like, where's Kieran? Not how you spell his name, but close. Kieran is in the chat. Kieran was offered to come on board, but I don't think he's seen 1666 at this point, and we've already finished our Halloween Ends stuff, unless more super chats come in about Halloween Ends, and we'll go back to it. But he's always welcome here. He knows that. By the way, you can get to the Rick and Morty fan show instant review to the new episode this Sunday at 11:35 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fandom Empire. Oh, that was a mouthful. So 1666. I don't like this movie. I enjoyed the watch enough to watch it again, but like if I'm ranking this movie as as just a piece of film, then I don't like this movie. And before this movie even came out, I think Mike, you and I talked about this on the last episode. I said, so wait, there's only going to be 3 movies right now, and it's going to conclude this story. How is there time to do that in under 2 hours, to go back and tell all of 1666 and still give 1994 its time? And I would argue that, and I'm not, tooting my own horn here, it's just how I feel, that the pacing in this movie is fucking dreadful. It's horrible. And you have subjective, of course, but it's how I see it. And you have 1666 and 1994. I disagree with Matt. I actually think, after having some time to think about it, that the 1666 part of the movie, although it takes way too long to clarify what's going on, the 1666 part of the movie, to me, was the stronger part of this movie. Because once you get to 1994, it's like, 2 minutes and you're at the mall. Maybe realistically it's 3 or 4 minutes, but it felt like 2 minutes. You're at the mall and you're already in your end sequence, just like that. There was nothing earned for that end sequence after what happened in the 1994 movie. I think you needed to spend more time with those characters, and you didn't. So that's my issue with the movie, is not necessarily what happens, but how the movie is paced and broken down. And to me, there should have been 4 parts. You should have had 94 part. They did, actually. Now that I think about it, they did. So after your 1666, it goes to Fear Street 1994, and it literally says Fear Street 1994 Part 2. So instead of copping out and doing it very short at the end of that movie, why couldn't we have just gotten a Part 4, which was actually Fear Street 1994 Part 2, and we give those characters more exposure? Like the older version of the main character from 78 is, we see her in 94 Part 2, and we see her at the end of 78 technically, which is, at that point, it goes back to 1994. I know I'm getting confusing with numbers here, but it's like, okay, but like, what connection do we have to this actress? The answer's no. Yeah. And then there's the guy that got out of the police station from 1994. We've seen him in one scene before that, and then we've seen him in the police station, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to believe he's like this big part of this story here at the end, and we're supposed to care what happens to him? I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. As a film, I think it's paced fucking terribly. Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Mike. How do you feel, man? How do you feel about this film?
Like I said, I thought it was good. It was my least favorite of the 3. I will tell you that. Honestly, I would agree with you on the pace. I thought it was very terrible as far as pace, and I can nitpick a bunch of other things too. But overall, I didn't think it was terrible. Like, in my opinion, I've seen terrible, and I know y'all two, disagree, even one to a dog shit comparison. But like I said, man, I enjoyed it. It is my least favorite of the 3, and I agree with you about the pace. But I thought that I was kind of worried of how much time we were going to get back in 1994 and compared to this. And as far as that goes, I thought that was done pretty well as far as time wise.
I have a question for you in a second, but we're going to get to a super chat. And I'm going to let you know right now when we answer this, we're going to be referring to the script here in a second. So while we're only talking about a line, it's not going to spoil anything. I'm going to be real blunt with everybody. Frank says, I hate Laurie saying the transcends line he's talking about in the Halloween Kills trailer. Laurie's not fucking Loomis with her psychological evaluation of Michael. She can't be as strong as him. Here's what kills me about that line. That line is not in either script. So unless that's something they thought of on the set, something that changed, and I can tell you, one of the people we've spoken to in the past is somebody who did see the test screening of this movie. And when comparing the test screening to the 117-page version of the script, they quoted it as being very spot on, maybe some minor differences in dialogue and some a little less context in terms of action happening in some of the scenes, but that it was really, really spot on. And that line, I'm telling you, is not in either version of the Halloween Kill script. So that means either A, it was something that came up with on set, or B, it's not in the fucking movie at all, and it's something Jamie Lee Curtis recorded for the trailer, which actually happened a lot in movie. Yep. What do you guys think?
I completely agree. I think she recorded it for the trailer. Because you never hear her actually. I'm trying to remember. Do you actually hear her visually saying it? I think you hear her saying it. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, with the beginning. I want to.
Okay.
Yeah, the beginning.
I don't know. I'd have to watch the trailer again now.
I'm pretty sure it's right there at the beginning, and then when he transcends, when she says that, it's cut off to a different view. Because I know there was a lot of back and forth of actually who said that line, but it's definitely Jamie for sure.
I'm curious to see if you do see her say it. I know you don't see her say the whole thing. You don't see her get the whole thing because they flash to different scenes.
Yep.
I just wasn't sure if they started or not, but it's not in the script, either version of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they came up with on the set, is what I would say to that.
Yep.
Kieran's going to hopefully watch the rest of Fear Street tomorrow. He's got to go. Appreciate the support, guys. Have a good one. Take it easy, Kieran. Good night. Mike, how did you feel specifically about the 1666 part, how it played out, and obviously the big twist? And you can be spoilery here in your answers.
I don't know, man. Like, all right, so I have a confession to make before we get. I've only seen this once, and it's funny you asked me this question because I probably can't answer it to the best of my ability because I was absolutely wasted when I saw this. But that could now I'm wondering because when everybody was all talking about it in our group chat, when all of us were talking about it in the group chat, for me, and you said that it was completely dog shit, and other people said they didn't like it either. I'm like, damn, am I like in the out here, the only one that actually enjoyed it? And then like I said, I was pretty wasted. So as far as like big spoilers and like the twist and stuff, there's not too much that I remember from that.
Well, the big one is she's not a witch, right? So
yep,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, my biggest thing when playing back and forth between the 1666 and 1990, or I'm sorry, 1994. Yeah, is how much time was either one of those going to be shortchanged or long changed or anything like that? And I thought that worked out pretty well, to be honest with you.
So to me, the big twist is not only the fact that she's not a witch, but that she's actually, for 2 movies, she's painted as the villain. When in reality, not only is she not the villain, she's the victim and the hero. Which I found to be very interesting that they were able to.
Yeah.
That's where my love's grown for the movie a bit. Is like, you know what? They did pull off that portion pretty good.
Yeah.
Matt, your thoughts on the twists and turns of 16 and 66?
By the way, I just put up the trailer. The more he transcends is on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
She's in the hospital. She's not in the gown. She's in that green shirt. So I think.
But the more he kills isn't.
The more he kills is not on screen, but the more he transcends, and I think, that's how, that's like her saying, okay, this is what we need to do. The more he kills, the more he transcends. We need to go take him out. I think that's how that scene's heading. But I mean, there was twists and turns. I mean, I think you're actually convincing me to try to watch it again for a third time to see if I'm seeing something that maybe y'all are and I'm not. I mean, but
as far as what your overall liking of it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Shawn didn't really like it.
He didn't like it at first. I remember 20 minutes in, Shawn was going off.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I got no recollection.
No, well, I'm just saying that he said it was a bad movie. So, I mean,
man, it'd be hilarious.
What's up?
Let's see what the chat wants to do here. I know we only have Mike for 10 more minutes. Hey, chat, there's possibly record of both myself and Jade being extremely high after about the 25-minute mark of Fear Street 1666, and we were voice messaging the chat. Who wants to hear that message?
Me, because I think I missed that.
Let's see here. This must be it.
God, you're gonna have to go way back for that.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing tonight? Listen, how many of y'all have watched Fear Street 1666? I need honest opinions here because this is a piece of fucking shit. We're really so like the ship has left the building. Wait, no, I don't think that's how you say it. Anyways, I really like the first two Fear Street movies. We are 29 minutes and 34 seconds into part 3, and it has fucking lesbian porn. It dives off a cliff so hard. Oh my god, this movie is unsavable. How's everybody? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm stoned. Sorry, guys.
That's fucking gold.
That is gold.
There's another one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna reluctantly hit play on this movie again. I don't want to finish watching it. I honestly don't. The last time I seen a movie this bad in a half an hour in, pardon, well, I'll go on, but, do we have yeah, we do gotta finish. I don't want to. This is painful to watch. I know. I don't fucking understand anything, and I really didn't understand why they had to have a fucking orgy in the middle of fucking. Before even the 29-minute mark. Are you kidding me? When you're making a movie, it's a staple to have an orgy before the 29-minute mark. Listen, I don't want to watch this. They're so victimized by this movie. Oh man, this is all Matt's fault.
Hilarious.
What the fuck did I do? Why did I get blamed for this shit?
Wow. Wow. Okay, so if I can take back what I said earlier, I was obviously extremely stoned.
Oh yeah,
that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, that was bad. That's.
I'm almost willing to bet you that Jade's opinion has not changed, even though yours has.
Oh man, No. Jade says she loves the movie now.
Oh God.
I don't know if that means Jade loves lesbian porn and orgies on screen or not.
Sweet.
We haven't had that conversation. But yeah, Robert Rivera says high calls are the best. You can laugh at those. Drunk calls you end up regretting. You rock, bro. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Frank will be right over. That's worrisome.
Just a little bit.
That's because Matt said lesbian porn at your house in the hot tub. Matt, I don't know if that came off as well as you were expecting it to. I feel like you might have went off the same cliff Fear Street did. Mike, rank these movies and maybe give a reason for why they're in each position.
Yeah, for me, I'll start off with my favorite one.
When you're ranking them, give the score out of 10 too.
Yep. So coming in third is 1666. I just thought it was it's the least favorite of my three. It is the worst three of the films. Even though, like I said, I thought it was good. I thought it was solid. But score wise, I'd give this a 7.2, just to be exact, which would definitely put that way below the first two. For number two, I had 1994. I thought it was very good. It kept me entertained. It kept me wanting more, which was the 1978, which comes in at number one. I like the whole camp feel. I like the storyline, and I like the acting in it. Love the gore, of course. So, yeah, those are going to be my top three. Oh, and for I didn't give scores for the final two. My final two coming in, my number two was 1994, and I gave that a 9. No, I gave that a 8.5, I believe, and then I gave 1978 a 9.
And sorry, what did you give 1666?
7.2.
7.2. Matt, what about you, man? Rank them and give us scores, man. Give us those scores, baby.
All right. For my number three is 1666. I'm right now rank it a 4.5. And let me watch it again. It'll probably go up, but I was just so disappointed after what 78 was, and then go right into it, and you're like, really? I mean, I'm fine with the 29 minutes in. That's all good to me. But number two would be 94, and I would probably get that an 8. Love the soundtrack. Right off the word jump when he's in the mall, you're like, okay,
yeah.
I might not like the movie that much, but the soundtrack's gonna be like my youth. And 78 is my number one, and that's gonna be a 9. Like you said, Mike, everything about it, the camp feel, it was like almost like a fresh take on a Jason movie.
Yep.
To a degree. And it's almost like here's our Jason fix. To a degree. And
sorry,
I know 78 is going to be 78's soundtrack was good. I know 78 soundtrack's going to be Shawn's favorite just for one song. But that's neither here nor there. But
they played it twice too. They were getting me. Anyway, Matt, sorry to cut you off, man. Mike's got to go. So Mike, I'm just going to tell you my scores. We're going to continue the stream for a bit. But this will be the end of the podcast portion. My scores, Mike, was number one for me is 94 with an 8.5. Mm-hmm. Number two for me is 78 with a 7.5. And number three for me was 66. And I did have it at 4.5 beginning.
Yeah, no.
I've moved it up to a 5.5. I'll give it a 5.5. So it passes.
Yeah.
Just because
barely, but it passes.
Mike, where can everybody find you, Matt?
Yeah, you follow me on Twitter at MichaelBish_ and on Instagram at MBish_.
Alrighty, bro. We'll see you next time, dude.
Yes, let's do it. See y'all later.
Take it easy, man. All right, and then
there were two.
What are the odds? Tommy P come back on. I just texted him. Come back. We have to play something for you. Q&A portion of the show, guys. The floor is yours. Q&A portion. Anything you want to talk about. Lesbian porn, orgies, Spider-Man No Way Home, Fear Street, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, Matt's favorite Halloween 5, anything you want to talk about, Star Wars.
Kieran's favorite, Last Jedi.
Tommy asked for how long, and I said the end of time, baby.
Ooh. Might turn him on there.
Uh-oh.
This one. Uh-oh.
How the heck you think you are? LOL.
Is that some Canadian talk?
No, that was clearly an autocorrect. It was an autocorrect. Autocorrect. 1 second here. Gonna grab this. Q&A time, guys. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna play a theme for a few minutes, and we'll come back with some Q&A. Anything you guys want to ask, put it in the chat, and we'll get her going.
This isn't awkward. That is not even. Nope. Flinner, that's not. Nope.
Why the fuck am I on a screen alone with Johnny V?
I have no fucking clue. I get
What the fuck is going on here?
I'm in the middle of a stream playing baseball, and my phone just blows up.
All right, you know what? Get Shawn on the screen here. I gotta kick his ass over StreamYards. Let's go.
Like my
That's
phone
not
just,
Shawn. That's Matt's screen.
my phone just blows the fuck up. Like, you need to get on stream. You need to see this. You need to get on the stream. We got a clip. We're gonna do just completely blows me up. Like, Jesus, man.
I hope that was as much of a trip for the audience as it was for you guys, as it was for me. All right, there's
What
nothing.
the fuck did you just do? I don't understand.
I'm fucking confused.
What the hell? Oh, yes, that was Dave McCrae's intro you just heard playing. It randomly started playing on YouTube. Dave, don't hit me with a copyright. Please don't.
Just broke my chip clip, man.
Can someone please explain what just happened or what I'm doing here?
I broke a chip clip.
A chip? You use chip clips? I didn't know they were a thing anymore.
Of course they're still a thing.
I thought they just stopped being a thing. Look at
The fuck did I come into?
Oh shit!
I still don't I really hope this is worth it to y'all for me sleeping on the couch tonight.
We were talking about lesbian porn.
Oh.
Hey Johnny, we were talking about lesbian porn, so we wanted your insight.
Well, there's some great places to go for that type of stuff.
I mean, links can be put in the chat room.
I think YouTube might have an issue with that.
This has turned into a wild event of an affair tonight. So Tommy was with us earlier, and we were talking about Halloween Ends and McMahon. Well, Johnny, I'm sure you know, and you might be able to tell him just a little under the influence, not severely though. That
I kind of figured when you blew my phone up the way you did that you weren't.
We'll get that. We'll let Johnny have a say on Halloween Ends in a bit. Actually, anyway, we talked Halloween Ends, and then we talked the 3 Fear Street movies. We reviewed them. I revealed that my score went up from 4.5 to 5. Do you guys remember Jade and I messaging our staff chat during that movie?
I believe I said something like, I've never seen you this high in 30 years.
Yeah, you were high as fuck during that movie.
So earlier,
in fact, I think my exact words were, "Dude, you're so high, I can barely understand you."
Hang on, I'm gonna put these two on the top because it's their reactions we're gonna be watching here, people. So we made reference to that to Mike earlier, and then I thought, you know what? I forgot we sent 2 audio clips to the group that night, and we asked the chat. Do you guys want to hear how I sound when I'm just a little high?
Wait, is this what I came for? Like, I heard them that night.
This is funnier looking back.
This was going to be something good.
I
just. It is funny.
I had literally just finished telling the chat, though. There was like, yeah, I was a little high, but no, there's no way it impaired my judgment of the movie. And then I listened to the clip, and it was like, oh no. One more time.
So, hi guys. How's everyone doing tonight? Listen.
How many of y'all have watched Fear Street 1666?
Well,
I need honest opinions here because this is a piece of fucking shit.
we're really stoned, so like the ship has left the building. Wait, no, I don't think that's how I say it. Anyways, I really like the first two Fear Street movies. We are 29 minutes and 34 seconds into part 3, and it
has some fucking lesbian porn.
It dives off a cliff so hard. Oh my god, this movie is unsavable. How's everybody? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm stoned. Sorry, guys.
So hard off lesbian porn.
And then that was followed up with this.
All right. Well, I'm gonna reluctantly hit play on this movie again.
I don't want to finish watching it. I honestly don't.
The last time I see a movie this bad in a half an hour in, pardon, well, I'll fucking go on, but,
do we have to watch this?
yeah, you gotta finish
I
it.
don't want to. This is painful to watch.
I know.
I don't fucking understand anything, and I really didn't understand why they had to have those fucking orgies and the little fucking... before even the 29-minute mark. Are you kidding me?
Sean, pause the fucking audio clip.
When you're making a movie, it's a staple to
Mm-hmm. What was the fucking orgy? Please explain this. This was never addressed after the fact.
It was the dancing when they were dancing around the fire. That was the orgy.
That's not a fucking orgy. That's a fucking high school dance.
The implication was it was an orgy.
Oh my god, it was not an orgy. That's a load of shit.
an orgy before the 29-minute mark.
Listen, I don't want to watch this. I'm so victimized by this movie.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. This is all Matt's fault.
And then I get fucking blamed for it. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do?
Apparently Jade was the star of that clip, according to James.
Oh, God, yes.
I wanted you guys to come on, so because when I could hear just how out of it I was on that, and don't forget, on this stream, I had prior just said, yeah, I was just a little high. It didn't impair my judgment of the movie at all. I apologize for how I was in our staff chat that night. But yeah, no, that's where we are. Tommy, I just wanted to hear your reaction to that, and it looked like you had none, surprisingly.
Because I fucking spent my reactions and fucks to give when you gave them to me. Holy fucking shit. All right, audience out there, I'll tell you what. Those messages came in while we over here in my household were like 10 minutes into the film.
Oh, right.
So I stopped listening to them originally, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds in, maybe 30. I don't fucking remember. And then I didn't listen to them anymore until we were finished the film. And Shawn, if I recall correctly, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't just listen to you playing those messages again. Yeah, y'all were under the influence. Y'all were just a little bit further in, so you were far from, well into the film, and I feel like there was a lot of judging the book by its cover. You didn't give the film a fair chance before you started really saying, "Oh, this is terrible." Blah, 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 blah. Realistically, fuck off, motherfucker, bringing me back on this motherfucking stream. I'm dealing with shit right now. I thought that the flashback really told a good story, honestly. We're in full spoiler mode now, right? Yes.
Bitch, I ain't even seen the movie yet. Did I come back for this?
Oh.
No, you came back for it. Just don't give any spoilers.
What the fuck? Holy shit! Oh,
I skipped out the first half of the show because I didn't want spoilers because I haven't watched them yet. You bring me in for what's promised to be a reaction to a clip that I've already fucking heard as it happened and some wrestling talk, and suddenly we're breaking down these movies again? Like, shit, son. How high are you
So
now?
I thought the flashback
I'm
told a
pretty
really
high.
fucking good story, and that you had some good colonial era, old timey religion getting thrown around in there, and all the luggage that comes along with that. That's something I get really into as a undergrad religious studies major. History and all that. I thought they did a good job with certain things. I'm not going to say what those things were. Y'all already know what they are, probably. And honestly, yeah, the film itself was a good film in my mind. Now, Shawn, I'm not going to lie. I was in the chat a little bit earlier for a few minutes, and I had you playing while you were suggesting that the film should have been cut into 2 different films.
Yeah.
Part 1 and part 2.
Well, it literally has that in the movie.
My better half strongly disagreed with you, and she backed up her reasoning with that part 1 essentially ended with the climax of the film. Now, entering part 2, that was, tying up loose ends and all that. I defended you by saying in separating them into 2 different films. Part 3, Fear Street 1666 was a little longer than your average horror film. It was like 2 hours, better part, right? So they would have had to have added some more stuff in there, some buffers, rewritten different parts of the 1666 and the current day, and that's how they could have done 2 films. Is that kind of where you were coming from?
I'm sorry.
That's
wow, Frank. Wow.
Too soon?
Forever too soon. Anthony says, "Well, I've been on here for 5 minutes, and Tommy's still trying to give his take on a movie."
First time?
Oh wow, Johnny's hardly said anything. Anyways, no, we've talked a lot of other stuff, so I'm just letting everybody know now we are going to talk wrestling here in a few minutes. Tommy, I strongly disagree with your wife, and my reasoning for it is I thought they did tell a good story with 1666, and while they would have had to add some buffers for 1666. The problem was we went back to 1994, and 2 minutes in, it's like, okay, we're at the mall. Here we go. It's like, what? Like, no.
Now she's blowing me up on Messenger saying that there would be no fucking reason to watch the part 4 because we all already know how it ends.
We knew how Star Wars ended. We still went and watched the prequel. Anakin just became Darth Vader.
Yeah, and we all fucking knew how the Rise of Skywalker ended by the time we got to the movies.
I didn't.
You didn't get spoiled, Johnny? Really? No shit. Good for you. Awful execution.
I think Johnny will like some of these movies. He might even like this one. Anyways, Tommy, we can get you out of here if you want. I know you have.
Yeah, I'm not staying for wrestling. I would stay for the rest of the show, but not for wrestling.
What, CM Punk's on in tonight?
Okay, bye, Tommy.
Bye.
Bye, Alicia.
All right. We can't go for too long anyways, because apparently Jensen is being a little brat.
Like I said, gets that from his daddy.
All right. The wrestling news. We believe that Daniel Bryan has signed with AEW. And there's an extremely heavy belief that CM Punk is not far behind, finally. I forget where I talked about it, but I talked about it somewhere. I don't think it was someone else's show. I've been on 2 other shows in the last 48 hours. Anyways, Johnny, you're the biggest wrestling guy I know.
Close second.
Them sounds like fighting words where I come from, buddy.
Did somebody say
Questionnaire?
what?
Quiz? What?
What the hell is
You
that?
will not win.
Contest?
You will not win.
Depends on when we talk.
If there is one area of extraneous, completely random, useless knowledge I have, it is the world of professional wrestling.
You know,
Well, you didn't know who Jake Kumaro was during your podcast a couple of nights ago, and I'm like, what? How do you know did not know who Jake Kumaro was?
Because I couldn't remember his name.
I've never heard of that person in my life.
It was a year ago, man.
I'm teasing you.
Matt just said those are fighting words.
I did say that. I did not challenge him to a dance-off.
That's how we decided. Dance off. I'm out of here. And on your mark. I'm just kidding. Anyways. Just your thoughts, man. One, it sounds like Brian has signed. Sorry, what? Can you not hear me? Can the chat hear me?
I can hear you.
You got me? Ask Johnny if he sees me.
I see you, I see Matt, but I don't see myself.
You're on here.
I see a black square where I'm supposed to be.
Oh no,
We can see you.
we can see your just pretend that we can see you because we can see you. We can. I seen you laugh, and then you look on the screen, and then you're blinking, and then you're clicking, and then you're blinking again, and then there's a bright screen, dark screen. Click. Okay, you guys get the point. Johnny, your thoughts?
I see myself again
on Brian Danielson, to be technical, signing with A&W.
You got too much root beer tonight?
I mean, he's not a vegan anymore, so he might be signing with A&W. I don't know.
Let's try that again. So the performer known as Daniel Bryan, actually Brian Danielson, has apparently signed with AEW, and the popular belief, for the first time, it's always been met with so much skepticism and 50-50ness. It sounds like CM Punk is about to as well. One, do you think the Punk is actually going to happen this time, or we're going to have our bubble burst again? And unless it's happened today and I don't know about it. And two, what would it mean for that organization to bring both of those guys in, even if they're only like 1 or 2 year deals? And I think they just added a new TV show, right?
Well, they added the TV show about 6 months ago, but it's making its debut first week of August. So, I think there's just a perfect comparable here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say it. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash.
Oh shit!
This has all the makings to be the Monday Night War Part 2. You know, and I don't necessarily mean going Monday night.
I'm sorry, that if I had a clap, that just was like mind blowing.
Like it's something that I'll admit I didn't put that together until literally just the second, because you're talking about the second show, and it's like, wait, this is TNT. This is like, oh shit, this is Hall and Nash. Like
money.
It has that kind of potential from a business standpoint, and it's hugely potential. I mean, you know, I don't know now. Like, I mean, the Bryan Danielson thing, we've been hearing that for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's kind of been out there on the peripherals. People are talking about, and he's negotiating, and he's been negotiating for months and months and months with everybody because he wants to find the right situation. And, you know, finally, I don't know if he just realized it or if Tony Khan just finally said, tell us what you want and we'll give it to you. And the things that he wants are all things that they give. You know, he wants some creative control. Well, they give that to all their stars. You know, everybody talks to TK. You know, TK is an open door for programs and feuds and things like that. And he wants to work in Japan. Hey, New Japan Pro Wrestling just happens to be a partner of ours where we frequently send talent back and forth. You know, like it just, you want to work less dates? Hey, we are on the road once a week, you know, twice a week now, you know, and that's it. But it's all of the things checked into place at the right time in the right places. And I don't know now, like I thought the plan that everyone seemed to agree on was that Danielson would make his debut September 22nd when they get to Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The big New York debut. That's they break ground in McMahon's background, and that's something WCW never did.
I think we know where they'd like the other guy to come.
I mean, presumptively, I think now I don't know, because if this hadn't have leaked and it hadn't come out, then I think the moment was there. I think, fantasy booking again, I think in my mind, it would have been a relatively easy thing to book, and they've spent a year and a half building up the Adam Page breakthrough, and, you have that match in Chicago. Omega goes over. Him and Callis get on the mic again. I said I beat everybody. You bring out Adam Page. Now I have beat everybody. There's nobody left. There's one thing TK is not afraid to do is flash some money at some musical bands. All of a sudden, you hear that phenomenal opening riff.
They're going to pay. He can't show up at AEW and not have that as his intro theme. He had it in UFC.
You said that yesterday.
It's hard to say. I don't honestly know, because I don't know. We don't know the rights deals WWE signed with the band.
I could have swore there was this article on it back in 2016, maybe, that said they no longer had it.
I don't honestly know, because it's still in the network stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously they still have some rights to use the song in perpetuity. I don't know how. I don't know how long that lasts and how exclusive it is, but don't get me wrong. There's lots of other songs that Punk has used in pro wrestling. Living Color is great. No, God, no. This is CM Punk. If he was going to go back to classic music, he would go back to AFI. I think that it would be just as important if you get that opening riff of Miseria Cantera, because the crowd would know it. It is still a very... I don't know if you're familiar with the song.
I am.
Obviously you are, man. I'm talking about Shawn. But obviously it's another song that has a very pronounced opening riff. And it's I even say it's got a better opening riff because it's a bass line and drum line. The Living Color is guitar, but Miseria Cantera's got that bass and the drum, and it I think is better. So I would have expected at the very, if not Living Color, then that. Those were my two choices for him.
I still think in terms of general popularity and not the diehard fan.
No, for sure. But the wrestling crowd's going to know it. That's the important thing. Chicago's a wrestling town, and there's still that. They're still a wrestling town. So no matter what song he goes out to, as long as it's the song he's used historically, obviously Living Color would be the number one. But if you can't secure the rights to that, then I think Miseria Cantera is probably the next best one, because that's the theme from the Summer of Punk, the original Summer of Punk.
Frank, I just think it's too good of an opportunity to pass up. Chicago finally, after all this time, the Living Color riff plays, whether it's a match or he just comes out at the end.
It's all about who you're bringing him in to work with initially. There's a lot of options.
He's going right after Omega.
I don't think so. I really don't. They may debut them against each other, but I don't think they're going straight into a program together, because where do you go after that?
What about the idea of him and Brian coming in against what's their faces?
Against the Elite? Now,
not in I don't even know who the tag champions are. I'm assuming it's them.
That's the Bucks, yeah.
I just mean in a wrestling motto type thing.
It's tough. Right now, it's hard to say, because there's so many things going on right now. With the forbidden doors being smashed open, tonight on Impact, they furthered all of this angle, and they're opening the door now for Bullet Club versus Elite, and that's a big. That's huge. The Elite was the Bullet Club for so long, and here you have Jay White on Impact tonight staring down the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega, and looking the Good Brothers dead in the eye and saying, "You're Elite. You're not Bullet Club. You don't fit in the Bullet Club no more. We don't want you." There's so many things there that are just so amazing. With the, especially with the world starting to open back up, all these doors are opening, and there's just so much going on right now that it's hard to predict where everybody's. There's so many things going simultaneously that it's hard to predict who's going to go with who. Like, if you throw Punk with Omega, then who does Bryan come in with? Like there's so many people that it just.
And you can't do Punk to MJ. Not that I've followed AEW much, but I'm assuming we're going to get MJF versus Jericho. And
the 5 labors of Jericho are building up to that match at All Out.
Yeah, I don't think you would have Punk come in after MJF or confronting MJF at the end of that, but MJF would be an intriguing.
I think you could. I think that it sort of.
I think you could too,
because obviously you're building MJF as your super heel. I think you could very easily have put him over Jericho again, and almost do the same thing as I said with Omega. What? Who's next? I'm moving on up, and with MJF, there's so many options there. Like, I would not be surprised at all to see MJF fake pop the crowd and do the old play the music thing. Like fake the music and do it that way. Like, I could honestly see an MJF promo where he beats Jericho. Like, obviously they don't announce the signing, but obviously it's pro wrestling. Everybody knows ahead of time. It's just a question of where, you have MJF go over on Jericho, and then you cut the promo. Who's gonna? It's MJF, so he's a complete douchebaggy promo and calls out Punk and challenges him and plays the music, and Punk doesn't come out, and he just laughs like, "See, he's a coward. He's a chick," something of that effect. And then, of course, Punk walks through the crowd behind him, walks into the ring, and of course, the crowd goes ape shit. Mm-hmm. And you do the moment that way. Like, there's so many options, so many people that he could feud with that you don't have to go straight to Kenny. Like, you want that because that's the match that I like personally. That's the match I want to see. I want to see the best bout machine versus the best in the world. That's the match I'd pay to see, and I would because it'd be at a pay-per-view. But I don't want it right away. That's a match that you need to build to, and
that's something you want Punk doing right away anyways. Like, I love Punk. He's my second favorite of all time. But like, I know wrestlers go through ring rust. I mean, we even seen it with Brett. I wouldn't want that match right away. You'd want it, 3, 4, 5, 6 months after Punk's been back for a while.
We'll get to CM Punk and Sting.
No. That's just stupid. But I will give Sting all the credit in the world. That dude has won me over 1,000% in AEW. Yeah. Like, I mean, I doubt either of you watched Dynamite last night, but he went toe to toe. It was Darby.
I've seen the clip.
It was Darby Allin versus Wheeler Yuta, Sting and of course in Darby's corner, and Orange Cassidy in Yuta's corner, and Sting goes through the full spot with Orange Cassidy, like, fake kicks, and he does like the chest beating in slow-mo. Like, Sting has leaned into what he can do, and it's amazing. Like, the tag match he had with Darby against Scorpio and Ethan Page at the last pay-per-view was 1,000 times better than anything I could have hoped for a pro wrestling match. Mm-hmm. Like, we'd seen him do the cinematic stuff before, and that, that's fine. It's cinematic. They're fun, but they're not wrestling matches. But
we're going to get to the chat here in a second. There's a bunch of wrestling questions coming in. So we will get to some of them. And we will let Matt have his say on this too and what he thinks it could do. Again, you'll notice that I said it's believed Bryan Danielson has signed.
I think that one's more done than Punk.
Yeah, Punk sounds like it's close to the finish line, but not done yet. The big question is, Johnny, I don't know if we've ever heard it this concrete since he's left. I don't think we have. We talked about the what if he comes.
Yeah.
Do you actually think he's coming this time?
There is more than enough smoke here that there's some fire. Like, at the very least, he's negotiating in a way that he's into it. Like, this isn't one of those kick the tires, hey, Punk, you want to come back and do this type thing that we've seen before, like when AEW first opened, when Tony reached out, and when like Cody reached out to him and all those guys back at the start. This is completely different. There is there's something happening here. You know, like it came out today that the contract's done, but getting together to sign it.
Oh, for Punk?
Yeah.
Oh, so the contract is done. That they're that far.
But there's no ink on paper. So you know, if there's one thing you've learned in pro wrestling is that until the ink's on the paper, there's nothing really yet.
Well, we all know. Look, I've watched it been done in all professional sports. If it was as simple as it being okay, just sign this thing, get it over with. There are ways to do that. There's PDFs and facts, and all that is legal. But I'm guessing the way that I like, and I have not paid attention the last year. I got to stress that. But everything that I learned about Tony Khan going into AEW being announced and following it closely, and it was the first time I'd followed wrestling closely in a long time, and I enjoyed it. Just life got busy and the pandemic and yada yada yada. Is it not? How would I put it? Is it not understood that like Tony Khan deals with his personnel on like a much more personal level and wants to sit down with them all? And
I mean, his dad's like that too, to a degree, with the Jags and everything. But he's got a very much an open door policy, and from what I've heard, you're right. Tony Khan is very open door.
Yeah, I mean, he's a much more personable guy. I mean, obviously, you know, contracts get done how they're going to get done, but you know, someone to this level, I think you need to, you know, there's also a degree that Tony doesn't sign the contracts until they're there because it's pro wrestling. You know, like for some of these guys, like there's other people that, you know, they've done the contract and that's it. Like the report came out today that, you know, Jake Roberts hitched up for another 2 years, and you know, Jake described the negotiations when he first came in. You know, it was a 10-week deal when he first joined in, and it got towards the end, and Tony's pretty much puts a sheet of paper in front of him, says, we need you to sign this. And it's, you know, a longer contract, and that comes to an end. They put another one in front of him, and it's a year contract, and they put another one in, you know, he tells Tony, time's almost up. What are we doing? Tony puts another contract in front of him, says, sign it. And it's a 2-year deal. Like, that's without negotiating it, without telling Jake it's a 2-year contract, just, you know, putting it in front of him and being that kind of confident. There's so much to all of it. Like, there's so many personal relationships in this as well. Like, Punk has relationships with the Bucks. He has relationships with Cody. He has relationships with all of them, really, except for Tony and except for Kenny. You know, and I think there's still some other issues that need to be ironed out. Like, there's a specific one that is, you know, the Colt Cabana issue, because that's something that isn't really getting talked about. Like, have they made peace? You know, nobody really knows, because obviously Punk's a really private guy, so nobody knows if they've made peace.
Different shows, though, maybe
not really
keep them apart.
I don't think they're going to go down that route.
Let's be honest, though, if they have the choice, if they have to choose between Punk and Cabana, it's a no-brainer in terms of your.
I don't think it is.
General audience.
I don't think it is. Not from a personal standpoint. I don't think Tony's going to sit there and, you know, if you say you can have me, but he's got to go.
No, I'm not saying it's like that. I'm saying if he goes there and it's more of
keep him away from me, I don't want to deal with him, then yeah, there's ways to deal with that. But I just, for locker room cohesiveness, I don't think that works long term. Like, even short term, that doesn't work.
I can't imagine it being a long-term deal anyways. I'm assuming it would be like one with options or two at the most. I can't see Punk signing on longer than that. Or are there details already out on
that? Not like that. I mean, it's presumed that, you know, he's, you know, obviously AEW is a different animal, because they are just, to this point, they've only been just TV and pay-per-view. Like, there was no road schedule. They've done a collective one house show because of, you know, timing with them starting up and, you know, taking a year to get everything under their feet. And then just as they're about to start going on the road for house shows, hello, pandemic. You know, so it's a bit more, they can't, that's not confirmed yet, and that's too early. I don't know why people keep saying that. I think that's just a response to the Danielson and Punk stuff, that they're pushing it forward.
I'm gonna tell you who I really like to see when I'm thinking about it.
For him to come back. Yeah, what's that, Matt?
Bryan Danielson and Jack Perry.
And Jungle Boy.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be a phenomenal match, no doubt.
that would be a good one, and I think that would be a bad start, depending if you're going to bring Punk in as not Punk, Brian as a face.
You've got them both positioned obviously as babyface because you're not going to bring Danielson in as a heel. As awesome as that would be as a fan, I think Danielson makes a phenomenal heel that doesn't get the respect he deserves for a heel because he's been a face for so long. But I think you have to debut him as a babyface because that's the way the crowd's going to pop.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think, well, you can bring in Punk as either one.
Again, it's all about where. If you debut him in Chicago, it's a face.
Oh, for sure.
It has to be. Like
he can go heel shortly after. I love face heel and I love heel Punk.
Did you see, by the way, that his Instagram stories was had a feature the clip of the song "The Serious," and that was
the Alan Parsons,
and that was the theme used by the Bulls. So I think there might be that's where they're.
But it's not the first time he's done something like that.
I know.
Like he's taunted and teased many times on a lot of things, and just because he used to I saw it and I was like, oh boy, he's leaning in here, and he doesn't usually lean in unless he's having a laugh or there's something really there. We don't know which one it is yet, and we won't know.
I think we
should know. Hang on, it can't be that, and also the contract's done. It needs to be signed. Like,
I think we see him sooner rather than later.
I'm saying, I don't think we'll know until we know. Like, there's always going to be it's done, but it's not. Like, there's people saying it's done. There's people saying it's not done. And some of the people who are saying it's done so far are more frequently right, but still wrong a fair bit. It's wrestling, right? I mean,
this stuff's already onto YouTube and Twitter. Like, I seen the stuff yesterday, how they had talked and they're nearing something, but are people actually covering this as okay, it's done, it just needs to be signed?
Some people are, some people aren't. Like that's the thing I'm saying. Like there are people saying it's all done but the contract being signed, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like that's just the nature of negotiations, right? You reach a point where everybody agrees this is great, but until you have pen to paper, you have nothing. There are thousands of examples in pro wrestling where the handshake deal has been broken, where you didn't sign the contract and it's not going to happen. So it won't happen until it happens. But I don't think there's not going to be an official company announcement ahead of time. There's no, it's not going to be that way. And they're going to play it off like it's not a real thing.
Yep. I agree.
They're going to do everything they can to dispel the rumors just because they don't want to ruin that surprise. Like that moment, it's groundbreaking. It's earth-shattering. It's huge. It's the biggest moment in pro wrestling in
a long time, a very long time.
I can't honestly remember. I honestly can't remember the last time a debut would occur that we didn't know about that far in advance, no matter who it is.
What about Brock at night after WrestleMania?
It wasn't night after WrestleMania. It was night after Extreme Rules. And
night after WrestleMania, and then he fought him at Extreme Rules.
I don't. Either way, we did know about it. But we did know about it. That one was reported the week before Mania, like to the point where people thought he was going to return at Mania.
Right. Okay.
Johnny, you might have to know more on this. I'm assuming there's just never going to be mutual respect here for this to happen. But Chester asked this in the chat: why didn't WWE not want to sign CM Punk?
They did. They do.
You think?
They've said that many times. Not just them, but he said it many times that they've talked. It's
like I got best way to describe it. CM Punk is Aaron Rodgers. Vince McMahon is the Packers organization.
No, you got that completely wrong. Vince wasn't the problem. Vince was pro Punk.
No,
it was everyone.
Page.
No, it was everyone else that was kind of anti-Punk in a weird way. Like Vince was for it. Vince wanted it. He liked him because he was a gimmick and he leaned into it and he understood the business. But other people didn't like how he was getting over and how he was acting, and and it's more than just Triple H. Like everybody just says, "Oh, it's Triple H." Well, I mean, okay, great, but as much power
If you're
as
going to put a face to it, I think H is probably the face you're going to put to it.
I would agree with that.
He's the face you put to it, but he's not the face that's responsible.
Right.
Like we can blame him all he want, but he's not the guy in charge of creative. No, sir, it's not. It's his wife. She's the problem. And it was continued to be the problem. At that point, yes. Now, no, because she's not in creative anymore. But, back then she was. Mm-hmm. And the writers were beholden to them. And that was at a point where a lot of them were, very cronyist towards them. And he didn't have good relationships with a lot of the staff. Like, as much heat as Triple H gets for being responsible for Punk's downfall, he's not responsible for the injury and the way the medicals team handled that.
Yeah.
Like that was a bridge too far for him. Like he can deal with bad creative, but if there's one thing he stands for, it's he looks out for Phil Brooks first. And CM Punk second. And as soon as they kind of took his health for granted and, handled that so poorly.
Yeah, I remember
to the point that it, could have killed him.
The lawsuit too, and I believe that lawsuit went Punk's way, and
I can't remember how that all shook out in the wash. Like it didn't go totally his way. I think it was kind of a wash in the end. I think they settled for something really small, and that's why him and Colt had the issue about paying for the lawyers. Because if they'd have won, then obviously the doctor would have been paying the medical bills, or would have been paying the lawyer fees on their side, because that's just the way the U.S. system typically works. You lose the case, when somebody sues you, you pay for their lawyers too, or it comes out of the judgment, or those sort of things. But there wouldn't have been the issue of who pays for the lawyers.
No, absolutely. Again, though, I ask you because it seems like you're kind of on the fence. Does it get done? Yes or no? Like, and in time for Chicago.
I mean, I've been burned plenty of times by him and by these negotiations. I at this point I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. Like it's there's been enough times where there's been rumors and plans and him saying things that make you believe he's ready and things happening. Like, I mean, there was the whole him when he started appearing at random indie shows there for a while. It seemed like he was going to get back into it, and that obviously never occurred. So I don't know. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it, but there's a lot more. The winds are pointing that way. I mean, I said it this morning. I walked out to my living room and I'm like, the winds are changing in pro wrestling. And I think they are. I really think they are right now. And I think this is the point where now AEW has proved they're a going commodity. They have a network backing them to the hilt. They are bringing in the ratings big time, to the point I think
that's what I meant to ask you earlier is, do you think Punk and Bryan coming in, if it is them both, are big enough to make a big impact in ratings still?
I mean, from where they are, can they go up? Absolutely.
I heard people talking like there was people saying, another 200,000 people between the two of them each other.
I mean, that's possible. That's not unfathomable. I mean, that would put them at around,
1.1, I believe.
Well, they hit 1.1 this week. 1.1 million this week. So that put them around 1.5, give or take. I mean, that's a feasible number. I mean, like, people point to a lot of things, but the Attitude Era was splitting 8 million fans a night between Raw and Nitro. Now, granted, a lot of those were, people going back and forth. So it's not like it was 8 million independent, but there was 8 million total fans watching wrestling on Monday nights in the latter half of the 90s, so the audience is there, but it's 2021. People don't always, there's so many different ways you can watch it now. Like, obviously in 97 and 98, the only way you could watch Raw and Nitro was on cable. You had to watch them on TNT or USA if you were in the States, or, if you were in Canada, you watched it on Monday on TSN and Tuesday on TSN. So you only had one option back then. Now you've got a multitude of options between, PVRs and DVRs and online viewership and, Fight Network and BR Live. And there's so many places you can get the weekly content that it's not comparable. I mean, the eyes numbers are probably the same, but, the idea of piracy being a problem in 1998 was trading pay-per-view tapes the next month. Like you couldn't sit on your computer and watch Raw and 10 minutes after it's over and not have watched it on cable, and then just fast forward through the things you want to see or don't want to see. The world doesn't work that way anymore.
No, it definitely doesn't. Quickly, Matt, yay or nay, because we got to start to wrap this up here. Do you think CM Punk is actually signed with AEW this time?
Has he already signed as of this right now?
Oh, do you think he will?
I think he will, and I think he's going to be at All Out. What is it? September 2nd, I think is when they're. I think that's when it is.
Somewhere in around there.
Yeah, I think
it would be.
If he's not there, if he doesn't show up, then I'm gonna put my maybe not, but I think if they're as close as that they say they are, and it's pretty much done deal, it just has to put pen to paper, then I think that is more than conceivable for him to be out at All Out in Chicago, and I think that's where he would want to do it. Makes the most sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had to go right now. I don't. When you guys got to go, let me know though.
I do have to go.
Alrighty, then we will outro Matt. Matt,
okay.
Sir, beautiful night, beautiful man. I think we proved I clearly was not high in. What?
But you're high right now.
I'm a little high right now, but I'm not nearly.
You're hitting on Matt, dude. This is getting weird.
No, he's a beautiful man.
I'm a beautiful soul.
You can be a beautiful person too, Johnny. It's okay. Just let yourself be open to the love.
Where is the love? Y'all have a good night, gentlemen.
Take it easy, Matt. We'll see you next time.
All right.
And wait, is he trying to eavesdrop on us right now? Is that what's happening? Does he think just because he turns off his camera, that doesn't mean he's... Hey, Matt. Oh, there you go. I was gonna say, that's not cool, dude. That's not cool. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like a mind-blown experience, and it doesn't mean it's a full one, but it's a little short one right here. Come on, this is your favorite part of the song too, right? This part right here. I forgot to move the pens back from the other night when you were down here. I was going to write Halloween Ends a few years later. Oh, man. Wow. Wow. So in the chat, by the way, you guys can ask any questions you want here for the next few minutes, and we'll answer what we can. Ryan Kinney asks, do you see AEW, All Elite Wrestling, wanting to go head-to-head on Mondays? I don't know if he means ever or anytime soon. What's your take on both time frames?
Well, it's stupid. It was stupid when WCW did it in 95. That's why Bischoff didn't want to do it. That was purely Ted Turner's harebrained scheme to, go head to head against Vince, because that's what he wanted to do. Like, I mean, yeah, TNA ended up doing it again in, 2010. That was also stupid because it's not 1995 where the NFL was struggling for viewers on Monday night. You're going up against Monday Night Football every Monday night during football season. Already, a large chunk of that is wrestling fans watching football because it's better than what's on. Like, they're not going to do better numbers on Monday night than they do on Wednesday night. It's not going to work that way. Like, switching to Monday night is not going to grow your audience. It's going to decrease your audience. What's on TV on Wednesday night? Nothing. What's on TV on Monday night? During football season, that's Monday Night Football, and they program it as such now. Like, it didn't used to be a big deal, but now it is. So no, going Monday night is stupid, and I don't think they're stupid people.
Good. Let's see. John asks, do you ever see Punk doing commentary again?
I mean, he never stopped. He's been doing commentary for
a UFC underbrand for
years now. So I mean, he never stops. Do I see him doing it in wrestling? Maybe. I mean, the plaintiff rests.
That's a good one. The complaint of indeed it does. Oh, Troy, that's mean, dude. That's mean. Why do you got to do that to be on the spot like that? Now I'm unprepared. I don't know what to do.
There's only like 2 real options.
What are your 2 options? And I'll tell you if it's one of the 2 that came to my mind.
WrestleMania 10 or WrestleMania 13?
10, Owen, 13, Austin.
Yeah.
Those 2 are up there, but you know what other one I like? I really like him against Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam.
Yeah. That's a good choice. That's a great match. Yeah. I can accept that. That's a top 5 Brett match, no question.
I would have all 3 of those matches in the. I'd have the Iron Man match in there too with those, but those 3 for me would be above that match.
I mean, there's some house show matches with the Bulldogs from 86, 87 that are a lot better than a lot of the other stuff he did. So I don't have any specific instances, but I mean, pick one from that run, and it's probably his 3rd best match in the company. Or if you limit to singles matches, then yeah, it's hard to not put that match at number 3. I think for me.
Oh, you'd have that match above the Hennig one?
No, I'm saying like the Hennig match. As far as singles matches go, it's hard not to put SummerSlam 91.
King of the Ring match was really good.
Not as good as SummerSlam, but still a good match, yeah. Which is weird because that was a healthy Hennig, or more healthy Hennig than 91, where he had the fucked up back.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Sorry, I keep getting the same notification, and I don't know why. I don't know why they've.
Yeah, SummerSlam 94 was also a great match. That was 19, Flinner. 19.
What's that?
Angle Lesnar in Seattle.
Oh, the bump. Oh, that was ugly. Best Brett WC. Oh God.
Did he have one?
No, for sure. Like, I did hear in this most recent document.
Actually, there is actually an answer to that, and it's not gonna. There's a lot of people who'd be like, "You can't say that."
I think I know where you're going, but go ahead.
But him and Benoit from Kansas City in, I think it was June '99. It was the first Nitro in Kansas City after Owen died in the building.
Oh yeah, they had the shirts, the tribute shirts on when they came
Yep.
out.
That match was phenomenal.
I was going to say the Goldberg spear on him in the Domi jersey, but yeah, I
That's
know
an
that,
angle, not a
I
match.
know that wasn't a match, but that
Actually, I think it was a match.
he counted the
No, I think that was an official match. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I think it was supposed to be an official match. They may not have ended up doing the official match, but they were supposed to have an official match that night. But it's been a long time since I've watched that Nitro.
Oh man, such a wasted opportunity. That said, Brett has said himself now, maybe he's come down off of his high horse a bit. That's after the screw job, his heart really wasn't in it, even though he was getting paid that. It killed his passion. So
I mean, the lack of direction never helped them. Like, I mean, they never knew what they were doing. It's like only WCW could mangle the debut of the most over person in pro wrestling at the time, and they did. They fucked up hardcore.
Okay, we will sold out 98 with Flair.
I can't remember that one specifically. I don't remember that one specifically. Yeah, I mean, it's a Flair match, so 98 Flair was kind of prototypical Flair, so I don't know if that would be better than their 92 WWF matches.
The world title match?
Well, I mean, they had quite a few actually around that time that weren't televised that have since made the rounds, and like the Classics on Demand era when they were showing house shows from like MSG and LA and places like that where they used to tape them every time they were there.
I see. Let's shift gears off of wrestling for just a second.
Well, I think we should answer that. I think Bacco has asked that question like 3 or 4 times now.
Oh,
yeah. I think they will soon. I don't know how soon, but yeah, they're definitely in a place where they can do that. They have a lot of great trio teams and a very healthy respect for trios from Mexico, where Kenny spent a lot of time, and the Young Bucks spent a ridiculous amount of time in Chikara. So there's definitely a healthy respect for the 6-man match that I think inevitably and eventually there will be an AEW 6-man tag championships.
You think it's soon?
Soon-ish. I mean, I don't think it's too far away. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't announce it like on the first episode of Rampage, which is the second show, and have the tournament there like they did the tag tournament. Maybe have the final at the All Out or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not in the next few weeks.
So I'm going to change Solid Saturn's question here a little bit. And all I'm going to ask is, so Allison, the granddaughter in Halloween 2018, and Johnny hasn't read the script, so no spoilers in the chat. I know you guys don't, but this is cool because Johnny doesn't know what's going to happen at Kills. How do you think the events of Halloween 2018 have affected Allison, keeping in mind Halloween Kills picks up immediately after the events of 2018? Like immediately.
I mean, shock. Like, there's no way you're not in shock after that. Yeah. I mean, long term, who knows? I mean, look what I did to Lori. And at least in this canon, it's not exactly like she was tormented for years and years and years. This is one night, same as that. So. Yeah, it'll fuck her up. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's going to be affected by this. Who the fuck wouldn't be? But the problem is she doesn't really have time to realize that. So I think that that poor girl who's already had to endure all the rumors and the stories, is just a classic girl or classic character in a Halloween movie in terms of dealing with Michael Myers. You know, the wrong person at the right time. At least the right time for Michael. And she's sort of a victim of circumstance with everything that's going on here.
Yeah.
Chester asks, do you have a favorite Stone Cold moment and match?
Wow. I mean, that's ridiculously hard one. I mean, moment, that one's easy. Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass. Yeah, that promo changed professional wrestling. Like, it's, you know, who knows where it is without that. Match? God, there's so many. This dude has such a prolific career. It's hard to narrow just one. It really is. He's had so many amazing matches with so many amazing opponents that picking just one is nearly impossible, to be honest. Like, I mean, every time he wrestled Brett, they were amazing matches. Every time he was in there with The Rock, they were amazing matches. Him and The Undertaker had amazing matches. Got his WCW stuff too. Like, that doesn't get a lot of love. I mean, him and Ricky Steamboat had some really great matches before Steamboat retired. The Hollywood Blondes, you know, one of the best tag teams of the early 90s that are not remembered like they should be. You know, so there's so many options that I could never pick. Just, it's like a Lay's potato chip. I can't pick just one.
I love the Booker T and him grocery store fight. Like, that's so iconic and memorable. And who doesn't want to, like, hey, what? We can use your grocery store to film a backyard wrestling match and just trash all the aisles? Oh, awesome, cool. Who wouldn't want to? Like, tell me you wouldn't want to write your own grocery store sequence and you have full creative control over what happens. You could do some fun ass shit with that.
No, you definitely could. No, you're right. That is an amazing vignette.
Troy says, Shawn, enjoyed seeing you on Dave's show earlier today. That was awesome. Worried about ends since now it's a few years later and it was supposed to be on the same night as the rest of them. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be worried about that because there was no reason to even really talk about that. And not only did they talk about it, they openly admitted that they changed it. So I don't know. Let's get through Halloween Kills first. And I know it sucks that maybe it's not all three on the same night like it was supposed to be, but I think they at least deserve a shot at telling a story they want to tell. I just hope it's for, reasons that serve the narrative and the story and not, hey, we want to sell more merch, is what I would say.
Wow. Wayne Gotke dropping a Nick Aldis question. Wow. I love it. I love NWA and the things they're doing right now. Power was awesome when it was on YouTube there a couple years ago. I haven't got to watch any of the new stuff since they moved to Fight, I think is where they're airing every week now. But yeah, no, I enjoy it. I love it.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'll do this one. Sorry, hang on a second.
Very much so, Flinner.
I remember at least one of them.
I remember both of them.
What were they like? I don't remember much about what they were like. I remember this is going back.
Oh, they were awful.
I remember in this like world tournament wrestling game for the NES, and like you could do the torture racks to people and stuff. And I don't remember what it was. It was not a WWF game.
NES.
Oh god, what happened?
No, that was me. I loaded up the YouTube chat at the same time. Yeah.
Oh. I think I understand what happened. I'm not so sure.
That was my laptop playing through my mic.
I see.
Yes.
I have not seen the new Dune trailer today. I haven't got to talk about it today yet either, and I haven't seen it. That's why I haven't talked about it. But I've seen reactions to it, and after what was a underwhelming first trailer, people seem to be mind blown by the second trailer. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm actually considering doing a live reaction to it. But I've only done one of those once, and I didn't feel like it turned out very well. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Troy Grubb says his favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin match was WrestleMania 17 against The Rock, and we all know. Wait, what? No, wasn't 17 when Austin went heel?
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Which is probably the worst of the trilogy, in my opinion, because of that finish. I thought it was so stupid. Like, it was huge at the time, and it was a huge moment, but what came next was not good booking.
Basically, humor Austin.
I didn't hate humor Austin. Like, I enjoyed the stuff he did with Kurt a great deal.
I was just watching that the other day
with the guitar and stuff, like with the sheriff hat and all that stuff. Like, I loved those things, but the follow-up was it was not good because you had the invasion botched right after that, and Austin turned heel on Austin the heel turned heel on Vince the face because WCW. It was just so convoluted and awkward that they horribly handled it. I will take 15 or 19 over 17 because of the follow-up. The build was amazing. The Limp Bizkit video, the Limp Bizkit hype video is one of the best the company's ever done. But the actual match, I'd probably take 15 over that because there's so much more going on there. And 19, of course, Austin walks off into the sunset.
Yeah, but I don't feel like most of the general public knew that in that match.
Nobody knew that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we knew we were seeing Austin's last match.
I mean, there were grumblings that he was coming to the end, but there was no, this is it, I'm done after this. Like, I don't think a lot of people even knew that. Like, I don't even think he told a lot of the company people that until then.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to answer James there in the chat. That's the stuff I go back to. That's my bread and butter. The mid to late 80s is my jam. I can I can do the Survivor Series 89 opening promo by heart. A buddy of mine, I'm sure the chat has heard me mention Jer a few times, either with Kieran or with you. We have a standing Thanksgiving tradition where we do quotes from the Survivor Series 89 opening at each other on Facebook every year, just from the different vignettes and promos there. And nothing beats the classic Royal Rumble openings. The overhyped Vince McMahon reading all the names and showing the faces. Those were amazing.
We do not, Adrian. We do not. We've been kind enough to share our address with a couple of people. But it hasn't gone past that, and we're very safe about how we do that.
So it's something to look into in the future. There hasn't been enough demand for us to have a channel PO box yet, but maybe one day.
It's getting there, but yeah, no, it would have to be
not yet
frequently. Do you guys like the Chucky movies? I think they're dreadful pieces of shit.
I like them,
and Johnny likes them. So,
I don't compare them to like the great stuff, but I enjoy them because I grew up and had a doll that looks just like Chucky. So,
$20 super chat in from our boy John, who is a fellow. Maybe I won't say that. I won't say that, John, because that wouldn't be fair for me to say something like that publicly. I'll say John is like Johnny and I in some way, and if you can figure that out, cool. And if not, then yeah. So John's like, "What? What just happened?"
I'm just trying to figure out what specifically what you mean by that. But
and in bed, this guy just woke up and made this face.
Wow. Geez, Flinner, could you ask a harder question?
Greatest wrestling game, Jonathan and John. Oh, you didn't. Just for that, you know what your answer to the question is?
I mean, I have like a lot of different choices. Classic, No Mercy, or WrestleMania 2000. Either of those because of the same game engine. More recent, probably SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. Hard to not pick that one. And non-WWE, Legends of Wrestling 2.
For me, it's SmackDown 2. I loved that game. Okay, I remember when you and I played SmackDown 1 together for the first time. That's a long wow.
I mean, that game came out in '99.
That's a very scary amount of time ago. That makes me feel a little nervous and uneasy right now at this current moment in time.
Just if you'd like to feel more awkward, you can casually remember that you have a son that just turned 13.
Yeah, I have, in fact, not forgotten that. Wow. Troy says he likes the Child's Play movies. Good for you, man. Good.
I don't know specifically what it is. I think that's what it was, Adrian. I think that's what it was. But I don't ever remember actually looking at the tag. And I lost the clothes for it so very long ago that, you know, I wouldn't know. And he's boxed up in my closet pretty deep in there. Wow. That's yeah, you can't go arcade. That's the choice. That's the choice for arcade. I still pull out MAME every now and again.
I'm pretty sure I know what one that is, but I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had that actual arcade cabinet anywhere around here. I know they had it at the pizza joint up at my family's cottage for quite a few years, back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
You know what? I think they might have had this in I can't remember if it was what restaurant it was, but do you know when you get off I want to be careful here. The city that starts with a B that's pretty close to us, but to the east of us, you get off the highway, and they have that and a hotel there and some other stuff. I'm pretty sure there was a restaurant in there that had that. That had some lame ass fucking tennis game, and I'm 99.9% positive I've played this game, and that's where I would have played it.
Yeah, I have no idea where you're talking about.
I don't want to give out a location that close, so I guess I could. Anyways.
Anyway, I did like them, Flinner. I still play the first one with GM mode every now and again because I love GM mode. But yeah, overall they weren't as good as they could have been. But GM mode was a banger that first year.
Mike, do you think transitioning to ends taking place a few years later will benefit the trilogy?
Well, no, until I see the story.
Could it? Yeah, maybe, but I don't think so. Like, everybody's perplexed. I mean, at least most people are.
Well, won't know until I see the story.
Just so we're clear, we don't know the story for ends. We know some bits and pieces, and most of that apparently still stands. But the whole idea of it being a few years later, it's like, okay, well then what was the purpose of moving it a few years later. So, Troy Grubb says, wonder if Wes Craven's estate has liked any of the pitches for Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Might not be sure what they want to do with the franchise. Well,
obviously not, or they would have greenlit one by now.
It's not just that, but it's financing it too. Like,
I don't think that's as hard.
It depends who you're going to go through, right? Like, if I know people are going to roll their eyes at this, but like if you go to Blumhouse, you know, a production company that makes movies for cheap and does well with them. Yeah, but if you're wanting some over the top big budget Nightmare movie, I don't think there's a chance it happens. I think
it's about how you define big budget. Like, yeah, I mean,
Halloween 18 was made for $10 million. Halloween Kills is being made for $23 million, but really it's supposed to be 30. They're saving $7 million to film at that location. You're not getting a $30 million Nightmare on Elm Street movie greenlit right now.
I think you can.
I don't. And I'm not sure I'd want to anyways. Start small. Keep it small.
I think you're... I don't think you're making a fair comparison, because Halloween you can make on the cheap. And you should make it on the cheap, because it doesn't require big set pieces. It doesn't require a lot. You know, there's no VFX. There's so much that's not in a Halloween movie that, you know, the budget in 1977 doesn't really need to be changed too much to affect 2020. Whereas a Nightmare on Elm Street, you have to spend more. Now, not a lot more. You know, you're not going to get no 100 million plus budget. You're not going to get that. But if you're looking for, you know, 50, I think that's still a fine number.
I think that's nuts. I would be stunned if they get 50, especially post-pandemic. I'd be stunned. And again, I know you need bigger set pieces than Halloween had, but I just don't think you need a bloated budget to make a movie like this work. It's not like the last ones were doing very good in the box office either. And I'm not just referring to the remake. I like at the end of the day, you can want it to be as critically successful or as successful by the fans as you want it to be, but dollars and cents matter. And these things, if you want to see more of them, need to make money. Is what I would say. It sucks that it's about that. You know, it should be just, I like this movie and I would really like to see another one. Sadly, those things didn't happen. You know, I wanted a sequel to The Punisher with Thomas Jane for so many years. Guess what? It's not going to happen. It's, you know, it's just how it goes. Obviously, there's going to be a Nightmare on Elm Street movie again. And I imagine the perfect window to put it in is as soon as this Halloween trilogy, quadrilogy, whatever the hell it is, ends. You know, you don't try to rush a movie out and go put it against Ends next year. That would be silly. But once Ends is done and there's a bit of a hiatus, go put your movie in there. They might already have something that they're sitting on. We don't know. Or at least, you know, prospective ones, you know, ones that they haven't completely ruled out yet.
Yeah.
35 million for the Elm Street remake, and that's the garbage we got. Yeah. You also
that was an issue of writing, not
you
budgeting.
also got a movie though with a bunch of TV actors, and I don't care what anybody says. Most of the time, it's not as prominent anymore, obviously, because TV is just such a massive production now. But for the longest time, if your major motion picture had TV actors in it, there's a reason for that. You're cutting the budget. You're not spending much money on these people. It's just the way the system has worked for a long time. But there's obviously less of that now because you have major actors signing on to do TV shows, whether it's Amazon or Netflix or wherever, for big bucks. So that stuff doesn't really hold as well as it used to. Adrian, is Fear Street any good? I've never really watched it. It's worth a watch for sure. Absolutely. If you love 90s music or late 70s music, you're going to love this. At least the music. Even Johnny, I know, would love the fucking soundtrack for these things. So
yeah, I've gone to start watching it at least once a day since last Friday. I just keep seeing something else on my Netflix splash page that's like, you know what? I think I'm going to watch this instead, and just never get to it.
Toronto Freddy. You guys are still streaming? Go to bed. Shh. Shh. Well, I mean, there's still 20 people watching us, so 20 of y'all mother Canuckers out there. By the way, I watched that promo again the other day. It's so fucking hilarious. Are still here with us, so thank you. Thank you very much. Ryan says use the Peter Jackson script sitting around with old Freddy. Get Robert for old Freddy. Then he regains his powers to get a new and younger actor. I'd be okay with that. You need to hand it off somewhere. Oh God, Johnny's leaving us. Oh no, he's back. He's back. He's good. That's not just me, right?
No, it went out of focus.
Okay.
That would be why I put my hand in front of the camera like that. I don't think you can do that.
Wait, you don't think Robert's coming back?
No. I'm referring specifically to the have Robert and then turn it over to a new actor as Freddy in the same film. It doesn't make sense. Freddy's not a supernatural. He's a person who was condemned to hell and acquired these demonic powers and is using them to get vengeance on the people that wronged him, that he wronged. It gets kind of convoluted when you get down to the brass tacks of it all, but it's still, Freddy Krueger was a person who was killed for being he was a pedophile. Yeah. Was murdered for it, and
deservedly so, in my opinion.
You're not wrong. And
controversial, yada yada yada.
But they had the hard proof, so there was no. Well, he didn't actually. No, they had the proof. They just chose to go vigilante on it, which I don't inherently disagree. Not that I agree, but they were the offended parties. So I can, okay, you deliver the justice yourself. That's fine, I guess.
You're not saying it's okay that they, got in a circle, beat the bloody shit out of him, and then set him on fire or anything. You're not condoning that, but what you're saying is, if they accidentally threw him in front of a moving bus, it happens.
I'm more saying that I'm not going to go out and do this to someone else that hasn't, affected me personally, but if the person has affected you personally, then I'm not going to condemn you for doing that, I guess.
Sorry, one moment. Nightmare is going to return, just like Friday the 13th will return one day. It's just a matter of when, and obviously there's legal matters.
I think obviously Friday's a lot easier than Nightmare.
I think Nightmare's easier.
I disagree, because Nightmare, you need the right guy to be Freddy.
Well, Friday, you need no lawsuit between two jackasses.
Well, yeah, but that's a completely different issue altogether. Take that lawsuit out, and there's probably at least one Friday movie out there in the last 5 years.
I think the best thing that could happen with this lawsuit is if someone not named either one of those guys gets it. Someone else comes in and just buys out both parties, and we get a creative studio involved or something. I don't know if that's a Blumhouse. I don't, but Universal more specifically.
It just needs one person, whether they come to some financial agreement that you can keep. It's not eventually it's going to be a judge's decision. You both just get paid for it. You wrote the characters, you get them, but you still have to pay the other guy, type thing, or vice versa. I don't know, but I mean that's what it's going to end up being. It's going to be a decision like that. Who knows? Maybe the judge will just be like, "Screw you both. The character's public domain now."
Yikes!
I mean, that would be fun for everyone else.
Could get really ugly though too.
Well, yes and no, because there's still certain ways you can do that. I mean, there's certain characters that are public domain that there's still certain controls that people have, like Sherlock Holmes is a public domain character.
I wasn't aware of that. That's
Yep. But there are still certain things that can't be done without the estate's permission.
Oh, well, I think it's time to begin winding down this stream. And as we do, as we reach the end of our journey here, Johnny, here's a question for you. Do we ever see, and I wish Jade was still on for this, but I can tell her to come watch this part later. I have a few questions for you. We'll have to keep the answers short. Consider it like more rapid fire. So simple yes or no with a brief answer. More Harry Potter movies ever going to happen?
I mean, that depends on what you mean, like in the universe or with those specific characters.
Harry Potter featuring Harry Potter.
Yes.
I think so too. I do. I think they're HBO, right? HBO, Warner Brothers.
I mean, Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. If they want to make another one, they're going to make another one. So we have that one out. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with the Johnny Depp thing and Amber Heard, and it just sounds like one big mess and two people that were just. But obviously, Johnny Depp has had some backlash over this, and my question to you is: will he ever be in another Pirates of the Caribbean movie, or is he done? Or another movie, let alone Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, another movie, yes. Another pirate movie, unlikely. Disney's never going to go up against that backlash.
So you said, hang on, you said no to the Pirates movie?
I said no Pirates, but he'll eventually make a comeback.
To Pirates?
To acting.
Oh, to acting, but there will never be another Pirates movie with him.
Not featuring Johnny Depp.
Man, well, I don't want anybody else playing that character, so you better find a way to give him a badass off-screen death if you're going to make more Pirates movies, which they clearly intend to. Yeah, I would like to see more. Toronto Freddy says we need Mike Flanagan at the helm and Zach Ward playing Freddy. Interesting combination. So I'm sorry, we did Harry Potter. What did we do after Harry Potter?
Johnny Depp.
So yeah, we did Johnny Depp. I mean, we didn't do Johnny Depp, but you know what I mean. Amber Heard is still Mirror, so yeah, that kind of pisses me off, if I'm being honest. So, but it's what it is. Is what it is. Here's one, Johnny. What do we see first? The Mandalorian season 3 or Kenobi?
Kenobi.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? That's fucking crazy. The fact that we're even saying that is crazy.
I mean, I think because the Book of Boba Fett is basically going to be the Mandalorian 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a lot easier to be like, yeah, okay, we did that. So here's Kenobi, and then you get your Mandalorian the following fall. Because I think Kenobi is going to be a spring summer, and then you have Mandalorian 3 in the fall again.
Could you happen to search up when Celebration is now in 2022? Because I'm pretty sure Celebration is going to be the big. Here's your last hurrah for Kenobi. Here we go. We have the cast here. I can't see this show coming out before then, and I wouldn't be surprised if when you go to Celebration, one of your big thank yous is here's the first episode of Kenobi, and you get to see it a week early or something.
See, I Google it, and all they're giving me is like the 5th anniversary celebration, or the 50th anniversary celebration, which is this fall.
What? Star Wars?
This is the no. I mean Disney World 50th anniversary. Yeah, like when I search Disney Celebration 2021, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not Disney. It's just the Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, that would be why.
Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2022 now takes place May 26th to May 29th, which means it would start right around the time Loki started for us. If it started just after Celebration, so like a June thing. This time next year, we could be reviewing Kenobi. That seems to make sense. That to me makes sense. Because they still have. I mean, technically they're filming at the same time right now, so you could still debut Mando early, technically. And then they have some other stuff in the pipe that could end up being debuted too. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Still going to watch Aquaman and support Jason Momoa, though. He's definitely expanded his acting chops. Here's one for you, Johnny. Final question before we go. What's your favorite season of Game of Thrones and why?
What kind of question is that?
Yeah, I said that. What is your favorite season of Game of Thrones and why?
4? Is that Red Wedding and is that Battle of Blackwater?
No, Red Wedding's 3.
Red Wedding was Battle of Blackwater 3?
Battle of Blackwater's 2.
I don't fucking know. They're all events that just blend together. Ask me what my favorite events in Game of Thrones were, not what my favorite seasons were. I guess 3 then, because if Blackwater was 2, then that makes the 3 the big one with yeah, I think 3. I don't know. Fuck if I remember. It's a binge watch show. You watch them all and then be like, yo, awesome.
Sorry, I was exchanging a message with someone on our staff. So, and I see. Well, thank you, Tommy. Very generous of you. Tommy's kind of here, but kind of not. I'll say that. So,
just like, huh? Tommy, what?
Tommy's kind of here, but he's kind of not. And, it is what it is. So sorry. Battle of Blackwater is your favorite? That's a long build-up one. That's season 2. Like it all builds up to that, basically.
Actually, I think it'd probably be 4.
4
as a season, yeah, because you
4
had
Watchers on the Wall, the penultimate.
Yeah, Viper in the Mountain.
Yeah. 4 is really good too. Like holy hell! Think about it. This show, I know 7 and 8 are debated about. I actually really like 7, and I still like 8, but obviously it was rushed, and there's a bunch of reasons why it's not the same quality storytelling. Anyway, the visuals are fantastic. Storytelling as the rest of the series, but dude, if you just look at 1 through 6, even though 7, like I said, is one of my favorites. Talk about quality television and quality storytelling.
5 is also a good choice.
5 is a great choice. The ending of 5 is just so good. So good. And oh my God, the way they tell Watchers on the Wall in 4, it's amazing. We all know the penultimate episode of each season is their big hurrah. And I found that they tried to one-up each other each season.
Can I just pick 2 through 6 and say that?
Yeah, I like 2 through 6 better than 1 as well.
1 was good, but
1 is my least favorite season. I'm not saying it's not good. It's great TV, but it's my least.
It's not my least favorite season. That's the final one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate how they ended it. I hate like those last few episodes. I fucking hate them. I hate them so bad. If the books end up like that, I will dig up George R. Martin's corpse because inevitably he'll be dead by the time the last book is actually published. But I will dig up his corpse and burn him like a White Walker.
I think all the events are going to be the same. I just think the destination.
No, I don't think they are.
Because
there's so many additional things in the books that never made it to the series that the events can't be the same.
I don't think they'll be the exact same, but you're going to see some of the main things play out the same, but with different routes. And then you're going to have other events that play out because that stuff wasn't even in the book, and neither were those characters. In the TV show, and neither were those characters. I don't really want to spoil anything for anybody here, but I think I don't want to do like a Game of Thrones ranking right off the top of my head just because I haven't watched the series in a long time, and I've been trying to urge myself to watch again. It's not that I don't want to. I've been savoring it. And
I've stopped just because I don't want to watch the final season again. Like it was just that bad to me the way it left such a bad taste in my mouth that I just don't want to do it all again. I'd stop before. I mean, maybe not the final season, but before the last couple episodes anyway.
I like what they did. I liked what they did with Daenerys. I thought they literally were telling you through the entire series that was what she was going to do. And people, look, I get you named your kids after, the kid or the character. I get why you don't like that she turned into a tyrant at the end, basically. But like she literally had been saying for years, she's the mother of dragon and she will burn your city to the ashes.
It's the way she did it that I didn't
went overboard. It was supposed to be okay. Because
she was the savior of the people. Like that was the whole point. She was the savior of the people. If she'd have burned the Red Keep to the ground, I'd have no problem. If she'd have burned like the churches to the ground, I probably wouldn't have a problem. But burning like Old Town and in the slums and, the part where the people lived underfoot of, the Lannister rule, that just did not,
it went from, hey, there might be some victims to better a cause to, I'm fucking lighting every one of you guys on fire and I don't care anymore. It just like snapped. And I'm okay with the snap. But to me, the visual storytelling, and the speed, I am going to have to go soon. I have no drink down here, and the vape just hit me hard.
There was no event that set it off. That was the problem. Like, the people had given up. The people had surrendered.
Yeah, no, but...
And then she snapped. Like, then she burned everything to the ground.
There's no reason season 8 should have been 6 episodes. And when they tried to sell us on 6 episodes, it's because they sold us.
I think part of the problem is that there was no event that made her snap believable for me. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Had the city, like had the town had taken down, like had they taken down a dragon at King's Landing, then I could buy it because that was one of her children, and that would, that would make her snap. I could buy that, but there was nothing that made her snap.
They foreshadowed her going mad from the beginning. Yeah, they did. Some people might not like that's what happened, but it is. My problem with season 8 is just the rushed storytelling. You promised fans, like literally, I go through the same thing with Kathleen Kennedy, and I get it. Maybe we're not supposed to take these promises so literal, but their whole thing for not wanting to do 10 episodes was they said, we have 6 stories to tell, but the stories are longer. You're going to get more bang for your buck. It's not going to be 60-minute episodes. You're getting almost 2-hour movies, and there's going to be 6 of them, that we're all going to be between 90 and 120 minutes long because they had that much story left to tell, but they wanted to tell them in 6 episodes so that's what they were. And the problem was, we got the 6 episodes. The longest one was 84, I believe, or 82. There was another one that was 70-something, and 3 other ones were regular length, and one was shorter than your typical episode. And it was like, I get it, quality over quantity. But like They didn't follow through on their promise at all. It feels very unearned at times and fast tracked. And it's one of the reasons why I can't wait for House of the Dragon. Let's get back to the beginning of a story. I know the basics of this story, anyways, and how some of it plays out. But let's get back to 10 episode seasons where it's not rush storytelling, because Game of Thrones was not known for rush storytelling. When Game of Thrones is at its best, it's a properly developed story from beginning to finish. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right when you say that. Like, it was extremely rushed, and that's the problem. You know, you had really 1.5 episodes between the Night King dying and, you know, Daenerys laying flames to King's Landing. You know, like, it was too fast. There was too much too fast, and it didn't come together in the end in a way that was coherent.
Yeah, you know, it's still one of my favorite shows, though. I think it's not Supernatural for me, and it's not Smallville. But in terms of like writing, production quality, visuals, soundtrack, everything, I do believe it's the best TV show ever made. Doesn't mean it's your favorite. Doesn't have to be anything like that. I hope. I know House of the Dragon has, and I mean, they are legitimately calling it Game of Thrones House of the Dragon now.
Which I hate.
They were going to do that, man. They were going to franchise. Oh, what the hell just happened?
I hate that that's what they franchised on. Like, they named the series after the first book.
Yeah, instead of, yep, I get it. I get it, but that's just the way it is.
If you want a more like, I get that A Song of Ice and Fire is meh. It doesn't hit home the way a Game of Thrones does. But come up with something original. You know, like,
I don't mind them using Game of Thrones just because it's already established now.
Now I agree that that's fine. You can't really go anywhere else. But I hated the title from Jump Street. I hated the title.
I got people sending me friend requests. I just don't know who they are, so I don't accept those. If you're going to send me a friend request on Facebook, guys, I would suggest you make sure we know who you are. I just not into accepting everybody anymore, and it's not like a personal thing. It's just, protection. Erica pointed out earlier she likes the seasons Marjorie's in, and well, I didn't like that. That's how Marjorie died, because I thought she deserved a better death than that. That sequence at the end of season 6, holy fuck! And that song. Oh my god, it's beautiful. The Dragon Fire is beautiful. Sorry, that's not what it's called, right? It's called the no, it's Dragon Fire, is it not?
I don't remember. I don't remember song titles.
No, not the title. Them blowing everything up, the keep and all that.
Oh, I don't remember which specific one that was. Like, I don't remember the names of it so much.
Anyways, that whole sequence of all them getting blown to hell by Cersei. Oh my god, it's so good.
I mean, I love Natalie Dormer, but she's not even my favorite Tyrell.
Lost Relic says, I'm excited for this one. What do you think of the new trailer of Denis Villeneuve's upcoming film, Dune? Well, I haven't
seen it yet.
I know that the first trailer was not well received. I didn't like the first trailer either, even though I held out hope for the film. But I do know that this trailer has been super well received, and people are over the moon at what this movie could be now in the span of 24 hours. I've not seen it, and I think that I might end up recording a live reaction to it instead. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Wildfire, thank you. Weed, man, does bad things to memory.
Was it?
I don't know. I think so.
So the last episode I have Natalie Dormer credited in as The Gift.
No, I'm not talking about the episode name. I'm talking about what happens in it.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, that was Wildfire.
And then Cersei's kid, the king at that time.
Whee!
Oh man, that's
Yeah, Marjorie's great, but she's no Olenna.
that's rough. And Olenna was, oh my god. And look,
Her
We're-
death scene was 1,000 times better than Marjorie's.
we're gonna do a Game of Thrones show. It's coming, but before then, we need to do a Game of Thrones episode. Just talk all Game of Thrones. Anyway, Johnny, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me here, there, and everywhere. You literally dragged me off of a Bros Before Pros stream to come here. Yeah, Bros Before Pros. You can catch me there. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all those places. The Inside Handoff football podcast available on YouTube or all major podcast catchers.
Podcast catchers.
Yes. There's so many of them.
Things that catch pods.
Indeed, they do.
The Starks are still my favorite for sure. Their story is very heartbreaking. Heartbreaking stories, They get you. They get you. But I mean, Jaime Lannister's story arc, my God.
It's great until the end.
Anyways, check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Fandom Empire now. Patreon's www.patreon.com/Fandom Empire today. We have graphic merch store over at T Public. Check it out. Just type in Fandom Empire. And we shall see you next week. This one time at band camp,